Happy Saturday, everyone. Good morning. Good morning. An early day. Back to these chats. I hope back to a little bit of this YouTube content. One of the things I want to talk to you guys about is the whole YouTube strategy, right? The content creation strategy. As you guys know, I own a furniture company. We make a lot of furniture, and it's an interesting business. It's fun. There's a lot of cool things going on. But from a YouTube kind of standpoint, I'm not exactly sure what the best way to move the content side for. As you guys know, you guys help me, get this channel monetized, and it makes a little bit of money, and that's, all fine and well. YouTube changed their algorithm, right? So now the requirements in order to be monetized are basically double what they used to be, which is probably a good thing. But it's definitely going to deter a lot of people from trying to do the thing. But as a guy who is monetized and has a YouTube channel and all that, it's like I'm trying to figure out what the hell I want to do with the content. Like I'm not sure if I want to go forward with more of the woodworking content, if I want to go more with like the political and current events type content, if I want to go forward with like the business content, or if I just want to kind of do a mishmash of everything and just put the content out there. I'm not sure. Like shooting the woodworking content can be really frustrating in many ways, because it seems like the content that really works on YouTube as it pertains to woodworking is a lot of this stuff that is kind of I wouldn't say it's lame, but it just like it's very old man focused, right? And again, I sell a product specifically for women, right? We sell the high gloss lacquer stuff, and some of the things you guys might not know, like here's a prototype dish that I made, right? So we got the Greek key on here, we got the beautiful ruby color, it's like a really cool looking piece, and again, it's got the super shiny finish. Like this is the kind of furniture that I sell. But we make this kind of stuff, for drink trays. So for those of you guys who don't know, something like this would probably sell for $120, right? So again, I can CNC cut this thing. It's got the beautiful details, has the resplendent chrome finish on it. And anyway, point is that the content game on YouTube is very difficult to figure out exactly what to make, that people would respond to. And it doesn't seem like, I don't know if if when it comes to making YouTube content, it's either not the consistency or the charisma. Like I got no idea. Like I think what I do is pretty damn cool, but it just doesn't seem to garner the attention that like talking about current events and politics does. And while I like talking about those kind of things, I don't know if that's like the best long term. So if you guys are in the chat, and we're doing this conversation, we're talking about Trump today. We're going to talk about the president, and we're going to talk about the economy, and we'll talk about some of the current events. But if anyone has any suggestions, I'm kind of curious what the content game needs to be on YouTube from what it is that I do. Right, as a guy who owns a company with like 10, 11 employees, we do whatever $1.5 million in revenue. We ship furniture all over the country. We have multiple people making furniture, painting furniture, putting furniture together. Like we got a real furniture company here, and that content, I'm not sure is super popular for people. I don't know why, but anyway, if that's the kind of thing you're interested in, let me know. Like, I'm curious what kind of content people want as it pertains to woodworking, the business side of woodworking, painting, the business side of owning a paint company, these kind of things. But anyway, I appreciate everyone being here this morning. Let's dig into politics, and we'll talk about the economy. We'll talk about current events. And we'll talk about, again, from a normie point of view, a guy who's a business owner. A lot of people aren't supposed to talk about businesses when they own a company, right? Because you risk alienating your customers. My customers don't give a shit about that kind of stuff. Truth is, guys, most people that are buying things that are wealthy, they're on both sides of the spectrum. You got left-leaning people and you got right-leaning people. You're not really going to alienate people that much. Will you potentially lose a customer or two? Sure. Most people don't really care. So anyway, let's dig into it. Kelly is the first person here. Kelly, good to see you. Glad you're here today. I appreciate our meeting this morning. You got a lot of things you can watch on YouTube, but you're here, and so let's get after it. So the title I want this day is Trump was supposed to be our Obi-Wan-Kenobi, right? And for those of you guys that aren't Star Wars fans, that's fine. But he's ended up being Emperor Palpatine, right? He's been a traitor. He's a wolf in sheep's clothing. And again, as a 3-time Trump supporter, I say this all the time. I'm absolutely ruined by this man. Like I feel like I've turned into like a Democrat liberal type person because I'm so anti-Trump. And when I think about it, it's not that I'm anti-Trump or that I've turned into like a Democrat. What it means is that I've been betrayed by my own people, right? The people that I voted for, the people that I kind of identify with, people that seem to have like the things that are important to me seem to be important to them. They have betrayed me, and this betrayal tends to look like liberalism, right? It tends to look like Trump derangement syndrome. And I know a lot of people, I talk to a lot of people about this issue, and most of us are kind of on the same train. But if you guys go on the internet right now, you look on the internet, it seems like a lot of people are ride or die with Trump, and I don't know a lot of people that are in this camp, and again, you go on the internet, it seems like everyone's like, yeah, we're MAGA, like we're going after Trump's doing great, trust the plan, these kind of things. And it's, I was one of those people for a little bit, and then I just realized, like, no, it's all fucked. Like, this guy is just literally, like, he thinks that he's an emperor, right? He thinks he's God, essentially, and he's using the federal treasury to enrich himself and his buddies, and he's using the military to go and try and shape the world as he sees it, which I'm not necessarily against, provided it helps America, right? And this is the thing, this is this America First agenda that I hear a lot of people talking about, and I think that this is more where I'm at. Guys, like, get in the comments, let me run my mouth here for a minute, and I'll say hi to everyone. But I feel like I'm very much in this America First camp, and honestly, guys, like, I don't have a problem with going and invading other countries. I really don't. Like, you want to go and depose the leader in Venezuela, right? Put your own leader in there and take all their oil. I'm okay with that. But the fucking oil prices and energy prices in America better come down, right? And this is the thing. It doesn't seem like the American people are getting the benefits of a Democrat or a Republican. And I'm one of these people, I use this all the time. You guys, tell me if you relate to this. When we were talking about forgiving student loans, as a guy who has to like buy trucks and take out loans to buy heavy equipment and things like that, when I take out a loan, like sometimes I got to put up my house, right? I got to put my business up. I have to have some kind of collateral to get a loan. So when I take out a $30,000 loan, right, to buy a piece of equipment, there's no federal institution coming to pay off my loan, right? So when someone, says, oh yeah, we're going to pay off the student loan debt, I'm like, go fuck yourself. You took out that debt. You fucking pay for it. Because if I take out a loan to buy a truck, right, no one's coming to forgive my loan, right? If my rent is due and I can't pay my rent, the fucking federal government's not going to come and say, hey, let's forgive Eric's rent, because times are hard. He's white and 46. We got to make sure we take care of him. He's had it pretty hard. There's nobody to do that. But this is a big but. I've never thought this way until now, okay? If you're going to take my money, right? And when I say my money, that can mean my military. You're going to take my military and you're going to spend $2 billion a day in the third world, right? You're going to go keep troops over in South Korea. You're going to keep troops in Germany. You're going to pay for NATO. You're going to pay to support the state of Israel. You're going to pay to protect Saudi Arabia. You're going to spend all this money doing all these things, right? My quality of life in this country better get infinitely better. And this, I think, is the big disconnect, right? So when you pay for bombs and you pay to protect countries all over the world, that money is coming out of your pocket. That money is coming out of my pocket, right? And again, if energy is cheap here, we can be okay with that, right? If the quality of life here in America is great, if the potholes are filled, if the food is relatively cheap, the housing is relatively cheap, we can get education, we can get healthcare, people can start businesses, right? People want to have children, right? If those things are happening, I honestly don't mind if you want to go take over North Korea, you want to go fight Iran, you want to, whatever, you want to baby Israel, you want to baby Saudi Arabia, I honestly don't have any problems with that. But the problem is that we're being fucked at both ends now, right? So not only we're paying for all these assholes, right? The cost of and the quality of our life here in America is not getting better based on the amount of effort we're putting into the rest of the world. So if you want to pay for student loan debt, at this point in time, I'm like, great, take all the money away from Israel, give it to the American people. Take the money away from Saudi Arabia, give it to the American people. And if that means I got to basically pay for a bunch of fucking blue-haired liberal bitches to have these stupid basket weaving degrees, I'm okay with that. And this is the big disconnect that I see here in America with a lot of people. A lot of people are tired of protecting other countries. Oh, we got to protect the waterways. We got to make sure that, the petrodollar is preserved. We got to make sure that we can always borrow money. That's another big discussion, right? Like, I'm not sure America needs to be borrowing so much money anymore. If you guys have watched the bond markets, you guys notice that the 30-year bond has gone up. The 10-year bond has gone up, right? And the Fed has started buying bonds. They're starting to buy debt with more debt. And we're spiraling into this situation where the money supply, guys, is being inflated, and nobody in America, not just nobody, the majority of people in America are having a tough time affording things. And as an American that voted for things like mass deportations, massive tariffs, massive tax cuts, right? Ending the welfare state, removing the third worlders and the access to the third world so that more Americans could have jobs. These things have not happened, right? And one of the things I got pulled in front of me, and guys, I'm done with my little rant here. I've got Donald Trump's presidential campaign pulled up in front of me. Okay, we're going to go over a couple line items in his presidential campaign, and we're going to go over why people are really frustrated. And I think that these podcasts, live casts, whatever you guys want to call these things, I think these things are really important. Okay, because this is real people talking to other real people in real time about real things, right? This isn't something that the internet is trying to, dilute you guys into thinking, right? And I think the internet actually is a massive campaign, almost like a hive mind, to get you guys to think something is real when in fact it is not. So anyway, let's get to the bulk of the conversation, and I appreciate everyone listening to me rant, and let's hear what you guys have to say. For those guys first time in here, basically, I'm the host, you guys are the co-host. I love interacting with you guys. So put your comments in there. We'll interact right away. I'm not someone that just runs my mouth for the sake of running my mouth. You guys put your comments in there. I'm going to interact with you guys. If you want to steer the conversation in different kinds of directions, I'm completely okay with it. It's your guys' time, and we'll chat it up. Okay, here we go. So we got people in the chat. I appreciate me here. For those of you guys who don't know, my name is Eric Wilkin. I own The Resplendent Crow here in St. Louis, Missouri. If you guys are in the chat, hit the like button, add a discussion. I have a furniture company. I'm not a guy in my garage. We have 11 employees. We have a factory here in St. Louis, Missouri. We make beautiful custom furniture. We make beautiful production furniture, and we're known for the high gloss, beautiful lacquered paint job, right? We put this on a lot of our furniture. We're known for this finish, and if you guys go to theresplendentcrow.com, you guys will see the furniture. Again, most people can't afford it, which is fine. I'm not trying to sell you nothing, right? Just so that you see that I am who I say I am, and I am talking about what I'm talking about, right? I have an actual business, right? This is what we do. So, okay, here we go. Kelly Foster, Forstner in here. Good to see you, Kelly. Glad you're here. Messi is like the soccer guy. Good to see you. Glad you're here. Messi says, could you tell me what's your favorite thing in your life? My favorite thing in my life is my wife, right? A lot of people always say, I'm a family guy. I'm into my kids. I'm into, whatever. I like my cars. I like my, sports, whatever. Like, no. Me and my wife, like I said, me and my wife, we're best friends. We hang out, we do everything together. Our life is built around each other, and we've got a business together. We've got kids together. We've got, we just do everything together. So that's my favorite thing about it. That's what makes my life work, is having my wife around, right? Having my wife there to, to build things with, but also, to tear me down in many ways, keep me on earth, so to speak. I don't want to get way up in the clouds. So that's probably my favorite thing. It's probably my wife. Like I said, I married a good one. It took me 3 times. This is my 3rd marriage, and this one's lasted longer than all of them. And I think it's in part because she kind of beat me down. I kind of not destroyed, but helped to illuminate reality for me. I'm one of these kind of pie in the sky kind of guys. So I got a great marriage, and I really like my wife, and that's probably the greatest thing in my life. Okay, Messi, W3D. So can you, blah, blah, blah. All right, I'm not sure you're saying there. Bro, okay, let's see. I can't afford to even pay attention. All right, well, I'm going to pay attention. So again, you guys got to give me a chance just to kind of run my mouth for a minute. All right, and this is Bendy41. Okay, interesting name. I love to know how you guys get your names. Like, I'm always kind of curious how people come up with their names on these screens. Put it in the chat if you have it in there. All right, US Liberty. Okay, boy, you're back, dude. Okay, great name. My favorite thing in life is constantly being terrified and curious about what this experience means and what we all are. Yeah, I think, Liberty, I think that's actually a pretty good comment. Like, that's what life is. Life is about experiencing new things, right? Life is about, really seeing what's possible, right? What can I do with this life? Whether that's, having kids, whether that's going on vacation, whether that's, working on cars, making furniture, whatever, making anything. I think that life is about just experiencing all the beautiful things we have here to offer. Like, I've noticed as I've gotten older, the things that used to interest me, like as a man, like I was into chicks, right? I was into money. I was into, that kind of thing. And as I get older, you know what I'm into? Like, this is going to be crazy, guys. But the thing that I really like doing is I like watching birds. I love watching birds. We've got 7 bird feeders up here on our deck. And I mean, like cardinals and blue jays and hairy woodpeckers, and we got these scarlet-headed woodpeckers, red-bellied woodpeckers, and just all these different birds. We got the different kinds of God, what are the little tiny birds? Hummingbirds. We got little hummingbirds. You got the sparrows and the mourning doves and the wrens and the finches, and it's just like, I like this kind of stuff, and like watching the leaves change and everything go from being green to being bright orange. Like that's what I love about life cycle. It's like, oh my God, this place is pretty cool, So anyway, there you go. All right, just kidding, love going. All right, cool. Don Julio, great name. All right, let's see. Yes, it's time to crave attention. Nobody cares. Okay, no, that's not craving attention. I used to do a lot of these chats. I used to be very consistent about doing talks every morning at about 6 a.m. And I just got real busy with my business, and I got real busy with woodworking and working on my home and these kind of things. I just didn't have time for it. And now I'm trying to, now I've got a little bit of control over my life again. I hope to be able to get back to some of this stuff. And so anyway, this is what I do. All right. So we went through the comments. Appreciate everyone being here. Let's dig into the presidential campaign. I want you guys to understand what Trump ran on, right? And then where we're at now. And again, if you guys disagree with me, put it in the comments. Let me know what you guys think about this kind of stuff. Because as a Trump supporter, like I'm furious with what I see. And we just passed $40 trillion in debt. Again, Trump has increased the federal debt more than any president in history, and it's not even close. Biden did quite a bit as well, but Trump's the king ding-a-ling of it all. And by the time he's done, the guy will basically double what Biden did as far as federal debt. And it's very frustrating as someone who claims to be a conservative type person. I think that we could be a little bit more fiscally responsible when it comes to spending money. Just like you have to do, just like I have to do. Like, we got to be a little bit responsible. It doesn't seem like anybody wants to be responsible at all. And everyone's just kicking the can down the road. It's very frustrating, So, all right, line item number one. We're going to go over the 2024 Donald Trump presidential campaign list of priorities, okay? And this is what he ran. I got it pulled up right in front of me. It's very well documented. So the first thing was sealing the border, right? And again, Trump, give the guy credit. He absolutely sealed that border. But one of the things that's really frustrating to me as a guy that voted for Trump and as a guy that had to watch what happened to this country during COVID, right, and during the Biden administration specifically, is you had to watch your federal government lie to you day in and day out about the border being sealed, right? Alejandro Mayorkas was the director of the Department of Homeland Security, right? During Joe Biden's term, and he would get it before Congress every year, and when they asked him about, what's the status of the border, he would say, oh, it's absolutely secure. And we were watching 2.5 million people cross that border every day, right? So this guy was literally lying to the American people, lying to Congress, and he has not been held accountable, right? So, and the fact that Donald Trump was able to come in and literally seal the border for the most part, and keep these people from coming over the border means that the last president could have absolutely done that, and that they lied to you. And the fact that nobody has come in and said, you know what, we're going to go back and we're going to look at your testimony, and we're going to look at what you said to Congress, and we're going to potentially file charges against you, is wild. There's no accountability. And this is very frustrating to me as a taxpayer and as a guy who has to live within a budget and has to operate within a specific set of rules. These people don't seem to have to operate within those rules. It's wildly frustrating, So the fact that Trump was able to do this so easily, and they refused to go back and go after the people that did not do that, and created one of the unaffordability problems that we have today, right? You can't bring 20 to 30 million people into this country and expect housing to stay cheap, right? Expect food to stay cheap, expect energy prices to stay cheap, to expect anything to stay cheap, right? You can't do it because you can't build up the supply fast enough to offset the amount of people coming into the country. And this is the thing, supply dynamics don't work in this country anymore. You guys have heard the stories of these data centers, right? We're talking about the AI data companies. One of the things that people are getting pissed off with these AI data centers is that they're noticing that their energy prices and their water bills are starting to climb, right, as these things come in here. And so what the federal government did to offset the problem with this is they're like, well, hey, you know what? We're going to let these AI data center companies, we're going to let them create their own power stations, right? They're going to be able to create their own power, and that's one of the things they're going to be able to do. And it's like, well, hey, that's interesting, because here in America, we have noticed our energy prices going up, especially since COVID. Why aren't we making more power stations for the American people? And they're like, oh, well, these data centers are going to create this power, and then they can sell it back to the grid, And it's like, well, that doesn't seem like it works very well. That doesn't seem like it's a very America First type situation. That doesn't seem like it's helping out the average American. And this is one of the problems that I have with this accountability thing that we have here in this country. Again, if you're super wealthy, right, you got all the access in the world. If you're in government, there's no accountability for you. But if you're the average taxpayer, well, you don't get shit. You get a fucking tax bill every year, right? You just be expected to pay your taxes and shut your mouth, right? Meanwhile, your Department of Defense doesn't have to pass an audit. Fed doesn't have to pass an audit. You can't audit a lot of these government institutions. Your Department of Homeland Security can lie about the status of the border every year. There's a lot of things happening, but no one's held accountable except for you, right? If you say, well, you know what? The Department of Defense doesn't want to pass an audit, so you know what? I'm not paying my fucking taxes. Guess what? When you come to audit me, I'm going to tell you to go fuck yourself. Because if you don't have to pass an audit, guess what, bitch? Neither do I. Except it doesn't work that way. The IRS will come in. They will issue liens against your property. They will issue liens against your businesses. They will take you to court, and they will ask Wesley Snipes. They'll put you in jail, right? But again, rules for thee, but not for me. Okay, and this is, again, Trump was supposed to help with this thing, and he's not doing it. In fact, he's made it infinitely worse by essentially using the presidency to commit insider trading out in the open. Out in the open, right? And do you see the SEC trying to address this issue? Do you see anyone at the SEC saying, hey, you know what, motherfucker, this is pretty goddamn corrupt? Do you hear anybody issuing any kind of a statement saying, hey, the president is literally committing a crime and we're going to be looking into this? You don't see any of that. Because again, just like Alejandro Mayorkas letting millions of people into the country of America while telling you that the country is secure, the border's secure, Trump's doing the same thing. He's doing insider trading like wide out in the open, and everyone's just like, we don't know anything about that. Like, we're not even interested. I don't know what the hell's going on here. It's absolutely insane what is happening. Like the amount of corruption that we're seeing, it's unparalleled. Like this is like fucking Weimar Republic type shit. Okay, go do some research on that. So okay, all right, Russell Dixon here. Russell Dixon. Let me go through two more line items here, guys, and I'll jump into comments. We're talking about the border. So the border's insane. That was his first line item, right? Seal the border and stop the migrant invasion. Okay, again, the guy did it. The other thing that Trump did about this whole border thing is very frustrating, is out of one side of his mouth, he's like, we're going to seal the border and we're going to stop the migrant invasion. Okay, he did that. But out of the other side of his mouth, he decided to let a shit ton of Chinese people come in here, about 600,000 of them, to go to our colleges, right? And again, you always hear the federal government say, oh, China's our enemy. We got to deter China. We got to do the AI thing because if we don't do it, China's going to do it. China, China, China. Yet they manufacture all of our shit. We let all their fucking students into our country to use our resources here, learn our culture, right? Learn how we do things, learn how we do our physics, how we do our medical. We take all of our technology and we give it to them so they'll manufacture it for us so we can then bring it back here and make a shit ton of money, okay? We are producing the people that are going to destroy our country, and we're not even open and honest about it. Like, which is it? Like, is China our enemy or is China our friend? And same thing with Russia. China is fast replacing Russia as our boogeyman type enemy. And I don't understand how Trump does this doublespeak. Everyone does it. It's just super frustrating me. So, okay, next line item, guys, and we'll dig into. I'll say hi to everyone again. All right, so carry out the largest deportation operation in American history. Okay, carry out the largest deportation operation in American history. Now, a lot of people will claim this is very controversial. It is not. Okay, this is the reason Donald Trump won the popular vote. This is the reason that Donald Trump won the swing states, right, in the North, which are very difficult for Republicans to win. Donald Trump won the popular vote, which hasn't happened for Republicans since Ronald Reagan back in the 80s. This is a big deal. Carrying out mass deportations was one of the main reasons this happened, because the truth is that there's a lot of people in this country that want these people to be drugged the fuck out of their homes, and they want it to be public, they want it to be brutal, and they want them sent out of here. as a message to the rest of the world that if you fucking come here, we're going to take you out in a violent way. Don't come here. You guys see the pictures of the people in Poland? If you try and get into Poland, they'll fucking shoot you. Okay, this is what Americans wanted. They wanted real change, whether you agree with it or not, right? I've said it many times. I don't think Americans know how to fucking work anymore, right? Trying to hire American people to do manual labor is almost an exercise in futility, right? It's very difficult, and everyone says, "Oh, I'm a great worker." Yeah, great. You're the one. Okay, great. Now try and hire people. I try to be the guy that has to hire people. It's a what's Jerry Maguire call it, a pride swallowing siege. Okay, it's very difficult. So I say it all the time. Like, if you want to give everyone here amnesty, give them amnesty and then close this bitch down. Otherwise, get them the fuck out of here. You can't have it both ways. And that's kind of what we're doing. It's very frustrating that Trump ran on this. This was a massive part of his platform, and he's reneged on it big time, right? The minute he got a little bit of pushback, oh, the blonde-haired blue bitch died in Minnesota. Like, fuck her. I'm sorry. Like, she wants to go and fight ICE. Great, go fight ICE. You're going to lose, okay? And I've said it again, I say it many times, I lose people when I say this, but I want ICE going into people's homes and dragging them out, going into the schools, grabbing the kids, going on the job site, ripping people off the roofs, going into the restaurants, grabbing people out of the restaurants, go into Trump hotels, grab all the help stuff. We know where these people are. Go into all the rich houses down in Florida where they have the housekeepers and the gardeners. Go snatch all those people. But they won't do it. Right? The other thing, the more simple solution, which makes a lot of sense to me, is just implement federal E-Verify. That's all I got to do. E-Verify runs through Social Security, runs through the Department of Homeland Security, and runs through the FBI. So when you put in a fake Social Security number, guess what? They're going to know. But these people, they don't really want to create real solutions. And voting, this is the problem with voting. Voting doesn't matter, guys. You get two shitty options, neither of which have your interests in mind, right? And this is the thing, it's just so frustrating. So, okay, let's add everyone again. Again, sorry guys, I'm going to rub my mouth sword. I don't do enough of these talks to get it all out. All right, we got King. Is this kind of renegade name? King Renedeg. Interesting. Okay, you're speaking truth. Meanwhile, you've got 6 views while narcissistic cuckboys get more. The algorithm is fucked. Well, so King, no, it's the algorithm again. I've had videos that they get like we'll get 500 people in here, right? We'll get 20,000 people watching these live streams. The key to making it, whether it's on YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, whatever, is consistency. And I haven't been consistent. This isn't a speaking truth while the algorithm's fucked. It's really more about consistency, guys. If you, right, King, if you were on here and you did a talk 5 days a week for 6 months, you would probably get really good traction. You have a really decent following. But the truth is, guys, most people can't do it. It's very difficult not to make the content, but to be consistent. And I say this as a guy, like, I don't have kids to, impair me. I don't have a lot of bullshit in my life to keep me from doing things. And I struggle with the consistency. So I don't think the algorithm is cooked. There could be something where the internet as a whole is trying to steer humanity in certain kinds of directions. I think there's something there, a Skynet type situation. But I mean, I'm not a big conspiracy guy. I don't know that every network is talking to every network, but there could be something. It seems to me like there's a lot of the emperor wears no clothes on the internet. There's a lot of times where you're looking at what's happening in reality, and then you look at the internet and you're like, what the fuck is this? Like, I don't see what's going on here. Like, Trump's telling me the economy is great, and everyone I know says that they can't fucking afford anything, right? Meat's too expensive, healthcare is too expensive, they can't afford nice cars anymore, they're charging everything. I see this, and then I hear on the internet that everything's fucking great. And it's like, wait, hold on a second, what is real? Like, if I was just down in Florida, guys, if you go down to Florida, right, I drove by Trump's home, Mar-a-Lago, right, when I was down in West Palm Beach. Again, West Palm Beach, everything's amazing. Everything in West Palm Beach costs double what it costs here in St. Louis, but everything's packed. Everything's selling out. My credenzas that I sell for $7,000 on the internet, I could probably sell for $10,000 in West Palm Beach because these guys are making fucking shit tons of money. So you got economies that the broad economy is not where Trump is at. The broad economy is not Chicago, Dallas, these mega cities, Los Angeles. Like, these economies are very different than what the overall American experience is. And I think that's really what's going on, man. I think these people, they're in these crazy insulated bubbles, and they try and tell you that everything's great. And truth is that it's not great for a lot of people. And Trump was supposed to help with that, you know. So King, great comment, dude. I kind of agree with you, but I hear what you're saying, man. All right, everything you're saying is the truth. I think it's the truth. You know, I don't know. And again, I say this as a business owner guy. I say this as a guy. I never graduated high school. I'm not a smart man, but I think that anybody here, whether you're intelligent or you're like you've got a degree, no degree, you know, dad was blue collar, mom was a chef, whatever. Like, I feel like there's ways for people to grow in their experience in life, you know, through business, through a job, through whatever. But if we don't work on what makes all that possible, which is the whole point of a government, I think everyone's in a lot of trouble, you know. So happy to expand on that if you want. All right, Russell Dixon, good to see you, dude. Good to see you, Russell. I need to get back to doing these chats, Russell. I'm so bad about this, but I'm working on it, dude. All right, Russell's comments. Notice the same folks complaining about beef prices are the same ones saying cow farts are causing global warming. Yeah, that's the thing about Trump. He's really kind of exposed a lot of these people as kind of frauds, you know. And again, you guys know I bash on education a lot. I think this educated class of people has really fucked this country over big time. And the educated class, now we got a gift coming in. Hold on, Kevin. I'll say, appreciate all the gifts and all that kind of stuff. I'll respond to your comment in just a second. I think the educated class, starting in about the mid-2000s, everyone pushed education hard. When COVID hit, nobody knew what to do, and so they all were like, well, all the scientists have to go to college. We're going to look at all the PhDs, all the people with doctors. We're going to listen to them because they're the educated ones, and they couldn't have been more wrong. You know, and some people say, well, you know, the Moderna mRNA vaccine, you know, saved a lot of lives. Maybe it did, right? I'm not going to argue whether that happened. One thing I will give credit to Moderna for is it seems like that mRNA vaccine, that the technology that they use for the COVID vaccine, it seems like there's some promise about cancer treatments with that same type of technology. And if that's true, you know, maybe COVID was the conduit to get us to some kind of cancer treatment that actually works, which would be incredible. And I hate to say it, but maybe, you know, we had to break some eggs to get, you know, our omelet, you know, which sounds terrible. But I don't know, man. These people, they, like the whole AI data center thing, like these things are not good. From a resource standpoint, right? They use shit tons of water, shit tons of energy, and you don't hear any of these fucking people, you know, crying about climate change. Now, they seem to be very quiet, you know, and I don't know what that's all about. A lot of these people that, you know, talk about, oh, you know, the climate, you know, safe air, safe drinking water, save the owl, you know, workers' rights, safety, minimum wage, all these kind of things. They send all the fucking work to China where none of that stuff exists. You know, so these people have been hypocrites forever. This is not a new phenomenon. These people have never been consistent, you know. But the education system fucked over young people so bad because not only did they give them shit tons of information about jobs and technologies and thoughts that aren't relevant in the real world, they saddled them with a shit ton of debt to do it, right? They fucked these people over so bad. These people don't want to have kids anymore. They're terrified about the climate. I don't want to have kids. I don't know if I'm ready to have kids. And then they fucked over these people so bad with the economy. Now they're like, well, I don't know if I want to have kids. Yeah, I'm terrified about the economy, but I can't afford to have a kid anyway. A kid is a massive expense, a massive burden. And this is what these people have done. And it's very frustrating, you know. So, Russell, I agree with you 100%, dude. And I'm probably said a lot more than you were saying. But I've thought about this for years at this point. You know, I said everyone around me, hyper-educated. Me, I'm the idiot. I'm the dumbest guy everywhere I go. Everywhere I go. And I'm okay with that. You know, I think a lot of people are starting to realize that being educated does not mean you're intelligent. Being educated does not mean you have any common sense. Being educated doesn't mean anything. It opens some doors, right? It proves you can show up on time, which as an employer, goddamn, I feel like I need to hire people with bachelor's degrees so at least I know they'll come to work on time. But getting them to do a good job, right? Getting them in an environment that's dusty, getting them in an environment where things smell funny like paint, getting them in an environment where you hear profanity, where you have different, you know, people with different kinds of thoughts, right? People smell like smoke. People want to, you know, do drugs and weed, and it's hard to get those people to operate in this environment. So, sorry, Russell. I know I said a bunch there, dude. I again, as someone who has to hire people, like, my God, man, like, our country's in deep shit, guys. And you guys want me to expand on hiring people and what it's like to actually have to see real workers, right, from an employer standpoint? I'm happy to expand on it. I can talk about that for fucking hours. Okay, Russell, appreciate being here, dude. All right, yep, two shitty options. Yeah, again, that's what it is. You get shitty option number one. You could have had Kamala Harris, right? Or you could have Donald Trump, right? As a Republican type, like fiscally conservative type person, I was like, well, Trump seems like a great way. You know, he's going to deport a lot of people. He's going to cut my taxes, right? You know, he's going to bring in the tariffs. Oh my God, you know, we're going to tariff China and Vietnam. Like, holy shit, this is amazing. And it didn't work out so well, you know. So, you know, and I'm happy to talk about the tariffs. Like, give Trump credit. Trump tried on the tariffs, so good for him. All right, let me scroll down here. I'll scroll down to the person to the left, the gift real quick. I want to make sure I say hi. All right, this was Kevin Hill. Kevin Hill, appreciate you sending a gift, dude. And again, I'm not real good about figuring out how to show the gifts. I need to, you know, see that on my screen. I don't see it on my screen very well, but I appreciate you sending your gift, dude. Let's see what you have to say. Let's see. Oh, I don't agree with this guy. God bless you all. Okay, well, that's cool, dude. I appreciate you hanging out. And again, tell me what you don't agree with. If you guys want to put your comments in, I would say, guys, put your comments in. I really appreciate it. I'm happy to interact as quickly as I possibly can. That's the whole point of being on here. But give me something to work with. Just saying I don't agree with you. Like, you got to give me some context so we can get a back and forth going, so other people can interact with you guys. That's the whole point of the chat. You know, is make sure we guys and we can have a real conversation, because like I've been saying to you guys, it seems like what's on the internet isn't real, guys. Like, I'm sorry, it's just not. People can say whatever they want about what's happening with our government. A lot of it just isn't true, guys. So, all right, here we go. More comments. All right, sorry, Kevin Hill, I apparently missed one of your comments. Let me read here what you said again. Mr. Conservative policies are literally removing the wealth from the economy and concentrating to the hands of the wealthy. Kevin Hill, I agree with you 100%. Okay, and this is the difference between me and a lot of people. Okay, my product, again, if you guys go to theresplendentcrow.com, so I always tell them I gotta say it slow. You guys, I sell to the wealthiest people in the country. Okay, this is what I do, and I'm telling you that this is what's happening. Your country is being fleeced. You as a taxpayer are being fleeced. You're being told you got to pay your 20% in taxes, your 6.5% in payroll taxes, which is Social Security and Medicare, right? You got to pay for these things. And again, these programs are going bankrupt. Your country is writing debt every day. They're inflating the monetary system, right? They're refusing to increase the housing supply. They're refusing to increase the farmer supply. All of these people are being told by wealthy people what to do. And what they're doing is they're creating scarcity in the economy. And me as a small business owner and a guy who sells to these people and interacts with these people all the time, I'm telling you that we need more supply side economics in this country. And when Trump comes in, he says, oh, I'm going to, cut the taxes and I'm going to, incentivize businesses. He's not wrong. But what he's doing is he's incentivizing you to get shit made in the third world, bring it back here to America, and then sell it to Americans as though it was made by Americans. And this is bullshit, guys. When Nike, I use Nike as, I beat up on Nike all the time, and I'll beat up on Restoration Hardware a lot. But when Nike sells tennis shoes, they're selling you a tennis shoe for $140 a pair. It costs them $20 to make it in the Philippines, where they make their shoes. It costs them $20, right? 30% of the entire cost of a tennis shoe is marketing. Okay, and again, that's awesome. If you can make your shit in the third world, you have all this extra money for marketing and branding. Okay, that's what these guys do, and I'm telling you, this is part of the problem. And everyone's, oh, well, you're creating marketing jobs, you're creating branding specialists. We can, have ROI strategists. We can have, corporate strategists. We can have all these people, and these are high-level jobs. We're moving up the food chain, right? Up the supply chain, up the, the corporate chain. This is what you want, these high-value jobs. And I'm telling you guys, it's not true. It's not true. You need more people creating small businesses and competing. How many fucking shoe companies are there? There aren't very many, okay? Another company I like to beat on is Restoration Hardware. This is my space, which is furniture, right? So I've got a beautiful black diamond front credenza that I built, okay? This credenza, if I were to sell it, I'd sell it for about $10,000, right? It's a very beautiful piece of furniture. Restoration Hardware, would sell something similar, they'd sell it for the same $10,000. But you know the difference between me and Restoration Hardware, okay? Listen to me very carefully, guys. Very carefully, okay? This screen in here, I'm gonna give you guys, so I use this as an example, okay? So you see all these? These are all diamonds, okay? All this stuff is diamond cut, okay? Now do this on a CNC router. I literally made every one of these 6-inch diamonds right here. It's going real close, okay? See all this? Beautiful black lacquered paint, okay? I literally made all of those diamonds by hand on a bandsaw. And it took me about 2 weeks to build this cabinet because it was a prototype type piece. So I was just kind of, you know, messing around. I would sell the thing for about 10 grand, and Restoration Hardware will sell for the same 10 grand, okay? Here's the difference. Very important, okay? This is a business lesson for everyone here. When I make this thing, I have to deal with American taxes, American EPA, American Ocean, right? I've got to deal with the city, county, state, and federal labor regulations, transportation regulations, insurance, tort, all the regulations that we have here in America. In order for me to build this piece of furniture and sell it to you, I am beholden to all of these things, okay? Here's what Restoration Hardware does. Restoration Hardware makes the same credenza in Vietnam, or they make it in China, where there are none of those, okay? None, zero. When someone cuts their hand off in one of their factories, which they don't own, they own no factories in Vietnam and China, okay? I own all of mine here in America. They own none of them. They make this credenza for $1,500 in Vietnam. They bring it back here. They spend their money on beautiful showrooms. They buy yachts, they buy private jets, they buy penthouses, they buy the most expensive real estate all around the world to show off their products because they're not paying craftspeople to make their furniture. They're not bringing the next generation of woodworkers to sell and, to make all their case goods. They're not doing any of that. And this is the big distinction between what corporations, MBAs, and white-collar people are doing to this country. They're fleecing it. They're not creating the next generation of people to do things. They're fleecing you guys, and they're charging you as though I made this credenza, and they're taking that money and they're buying luxurious shit. Okay, Restoration Hardware has a stock price of about $160 a share last time, maybe $170 a share last time I looked. Okay, this is what is happening in this country. Another great example, you just heard Trump today or yesterday talking about the beef thing, right? They're gonna bring 300,000 tons of beef into this country, tariff-free, and they're gonna sell it 25% below market, okay? Why not just incentivize the farmer's life? Why not just incentivize the rancher life? Why not just from a tax standpoint and a regulatory standpoint, why don't you let the guy down the street with 50 head of cattle whack that shit up and sell it locally? To operate in this country is stifling. It is so cumbersome and so difficult. I don't think people understand how hard it is to compete in America to sell things to Americans. You almost are forced to operate outside of America. And until we fix this problem, guys, like this country will not get better. I'm sorry, it will not get better. Okay? So, sorry guys, I ran my mouth there. Kevin Hill, I love your comment. Thanks for the gift, dude. You clearly got a lot out of me. This is a topic I'm very passionate about. Bringing small business back to America, having massive amounts of competition and supply side economics working in America. Okay, so, all right. Again, put your guys' comment here. I'm gonna run through comments real quick, get to the end. I'll go through all your guys' comments right now. We'll interact with them. I'm gonna go back to reading what Trump's platform was when he ran for president. And again, what's happening today, okay? All right, Kevin, great comment, dude. We still need experts. The vaccine was a man-made miracle. I agree. The vaccine was a man-made miracle, but the thing that caused the problem was also man-made. So again, I'm not okay with creating problems so that you can create solutions, right? Look at all these wars in the Middle East, okay? When you go over and you bomb people and you kill grandma and you kill grandpa and you say, oh, well, they said death to America, and you go kill all their people, you're not making friends, right? You're creating problems so that you can then create solution in the form of bombs, in the form of, Israeli intelligence, in the form of, monarchies. You're promoting monarchies like Saudi Arabia, even though you're a democracy. And we say, oh, we want to promote democracy, and all we care about is capitalism, okay? There's no fucking democracies or capitalism in these countries, right? You say anything about the monarchy in Saudi Arabia, they'll cut your fucking hands off, right? They'll kill your family, right? These places are not our friends, and yet we act as though they are, So, I want to go off on that, right? Okay, David, is it Bork? It's not Burke, it's Bork. David Borky. Okay, good to see you, dude. Bullshit. Okay, David, let me know what you disagree with. And again, sorry guys, I'm behind on comments. I'm going to tear through them. All right. Again, I love when you guys disagree with me. I'm happy to go back and forth. And again, I'm one of these people that you can educate me. You can fill me in on what's real. If I'm wrong, you can. I'm open to have my opinion change all the time. It happens. It happens every day. All right. Bird no. I guess I'm sure it's 5882. Greece for Greece, man. Good to see you, dude. Greece, man. That's supposed to be a beautiful country. You guys are supposed to have some of the most beautiful beaches in the world, from what I understand. I'd love to go to Greece. I got a shipper who's from Croatia, and he's always telling me how beautiful it is over there. All right, Swiss Michael 78. Trump made Iran realize they no longer need nukes. They have the Strait of Hormuz now. Dumb. Love from Swiss. All right, cool. So you're from Switzerland, I guess. Beautiful country. Holy smokes, you guys really made out there. Yeah, Trump. I think Trump made a humongous error in this whole Iran thing. I don't know why he did this. It makes no sense to me. If you guys go back and again, this is a great thing about the internet. People forget sometimes. I think especially these boomer people, they forget that we have this thing called the internet, and it didn't just start yesterday. Like it's been around for the better part of we're going on 30 years now. The internet has been a thing. So we can kind of go back and look at some things. And the truth is that if you go back and just look at, the government of Israel talking about Iran, they've been saying Iran's going to get a nuke for over 35 years at this point. Clearly, that's not happening. It hasn't happened. And then we can also go back and look at things like the JCPOA, and we can realize that Trump ripped that document up. And it was working. Like you might not have liked how it was working, but for the most part, it was fine. You can also we go back even further in history, and we can look back at nuclear proliferation, right? We could look at, there were two countries back in 2008 that were trying to get nuclear weapons, Libya and North Korea, right? And then what happened, right? You have two examples of what happened. North Korea got the bomb, right? Libya gave up their weapons, and then we can look at two different paths, right? North Korea got the bomb. Guess what? No one fucks with North Korea anymore. North Korea pretty much keeps to themselves. They do their thing. They're pretty much insignificant. Libya, right? Libya became a failed state. Muammar Gaddafi got the pole stuck up his ass, and bad deal. So if you're being honest and you're being subjective, you would say that Libya should have kept their weapons. Libya should have got a nuclear weapon, and again, no one would be fucking with them right now. Okay. So we can go back and look at history and understand exactly what nuclear weapons do. So when Trump says, "Oh, you can't let Iran have a nuclear weapon," they're gonna nuke Israel and then they're gonna nuke America. It's like, okay, well, a lot of other countries hate America too, but they got nukes. They don't nuke us. We can also go back, and we can go back even further. You guys go back to this thing. It was called the Iran-Iraq War, right? And what you guys need to know about that history is go back and learn about it, right? So hundreds of thousands of Iranians died. Iraqis died too. But where did Iraq get their sarin gas and their mustard gas, right? They got it from two countries. They got it from Germany, right, which is ironic, right? And then they got it from America, right? Not the actual chemicals, but the precursors and the things that make those chemicals came from America. Right? So when Iran shouts death to America, it's because they understand that we have been killing their people for decades. Yet your government will never talk to you about this. All your politicians act as though this never happened. Right? Then if we want to even go back further, let's go back to 1953. Right? 1953, right? America is really pissed off because They're tired of the oil that is in Iran going to the Iranian people who just elected a leader named Mohammed Mossadegh, and he decided, we're going to keep this oil for ourselves. Britain's like, fuck that. We've been taking this oil for decades. That's our oil, right? Because I'm drawing a blank on the name of the company. They had a company that was extracting the oil, right? Anyway, Mossadegh gets elected democratically, by the way. And again, America supposedly supports democracies, right? So they democratically selected this guy. And he's like, well, we're going to keep this money for ourselves. This is our resource, right? We'll give some of it to Britain, but for the most part, it's going to stay here in Iran. It's for the Iranian people. And America got together with Britain, right? MI6, CIA, and they're like, you know what? We're going to kick this guy out. This guy, he's too democratic for us. He's got to go. And so we orchestrated a coup. And we put in the Shah, right? The Shah is a word, basically means king. We put this guy in there, and he became a Western-leaning leader. Okay, so how would you like to be an American living in America under a leader that was selected by the country of Iran? You'd be like, oh, this is fucking bullshit. Like, we didn't elect this Shah, right? We elected this other guy. And then for 19 years, you have to live with this fucking guy. Again, whether you like him or not, you didn't select him. Your leader was selected by another country. As an American, you would be fucking pissed. But this is what happened over there. And we act like this didn't happen. Oh, they hate us because they ain't us. No, we have fucked these people over for decades. And we act as though it never happened. So then 1979, right, the IRGC comes in, and they're like, fuck this, we're taking this back. This is our country. Oh, this is the Islamic Republic. It's these brown people. Islam. You need to hate them. Hate them. They're terrible people. They hate women. They're oppressive. I don't give a shit. I care about people here. Oh, but they're going to bring that religion here. Okay, here's something you guys don't understand about America, right? What we're doing here, okay? When you go bomb Sudan, you go bomb Syria, right? You go bomb Lebanon, you go bomb Iran, you go bomb any of these countries over there, Palestine, you go bomb any of these places. Guess where a lot of the refugees end up? They end up here. Somalia. How do you think these fucking people get? You think they get here because we're just an amazing country, and we just, we create the instability in the world, and these people end up here. How do you know this, Eric? Oh, Eric, you're talking out of your ass. Okay, here you go, motherfucker. My furniture maker is from Syria. You really want to know what happened in Syria? How about you talk to someone that was there during the war? My shipper from Croatia. You want to know what happened during the war over there? You want to know how that guy ended up here in America? Go talk to the people that are actually there. Stop listening to the government. Okay, these people fucking lie through their teeth. It's wild. It's wild, guys. So, it's just like a great comment, dude. You guys are getting some good stuff out of me. All right, COVID shot did the killing. Yeah, David, I think the COVID shot was a wash. I think that, COVID was a novel virus that was created in a lab by America, right? And again, we used China to do it because you can't do it here in America, which again, why aren't any of those people in jail? Why aren't there charges against these people that allowed this to happen? Because at the end of the day, this is an American problem. This is not a Chinese problem. It's the China virus. Fuck no, it wasn't the China virus. We paid for that shit, okay? Again, where's the accountability? Where's the reparations? Again, rules for thee, but not for me. And this is one of the big problems that I have with what we do in this country. This is one of the reasons that I voted for a guy like Donald Trump, is I believed that he was going to hold people a little bit more accountable, whether that's the third world, the Middle East thing, or even people here in America, because they went after him so hard. You guys remember what happened to Donald Trump when he was running up to his election? Like, Jesus Christ, like they put the guy in jail, and they were trying to anything they could to keep this guy from running for president because they were fucking terrified of him. And now it doesn't seem like that was the case at all. It seems like we were all bamboozled, So, all right, David, great comment. All right, see, David, that's not true. And again, the COVID thing, the COVID shot, the COVID, that whole time was very, very controversial time. But I think that everyone can agree that we as Americans, everyone talks, oh, we're America, we got fucking guns and the Second Amendment, the First Amendment. I think we can all agree that when COVID happened, the First Amendment went out the door. The Second Amendment went out the door. All the rules, the government learned they could terrify you. They could strike enough fear into people. They could essentially usher in a mini form of martial law, which was wild, absolutely wild. And you still see these people that are terrified. They're still wearing masks today. Like, I see them all the time. I see people in their fucking cars, like they're in the cars by themselves wearing a mask. Like they were so brainwashed by the whole COVID thing. They're so traumatized by it. They're still not right. And there's a lot of those people, more people than I think we want to admit. All right, see, I don't agree with this guy. God bless you. Okay, I read your comment. Thank you, Kevin Hill. Appreciate you being here. King says, you're not stupid, but you're the only intelligent person I've seen in weeks on social media. Yeah, again, I don't know if I'm intelligent, but I see it like it is, and again, as a guy who has to operate in the real world, like I got to make sure that, my books are balanced. I got to make sure I got money in the bank to pay my people. I got to make sure that, my wife sells enough furniture so we can have work for our guys. So they can have paychecks, they can buy houses, cars, kids, all that kind of fun stuff. That's my job as an employer. That's what I do. And I don't have this ability to say, well, you know what? Yeah, sales were shit, but fuck it, I'm just gonna go print some money. I'm gonna go, go to my fucking money tree. I'm gonna go pull some hundreds off of there, and make sure I pay my people. We can't do that, but the government does it all the time, and we act like everything's fine. And it's not a big deal that we're $40 trillion in debt. It's like, oh, well, whatever. The last guy printed a bunch of money, so I'm gonna print a bunch of money, and it's really fucked up, and the fact that we have this thing called the Fed, I'm not gonna say a ton about this, but the fact that we have this Fed, which by definition and structurally is not a part of the federal government, is insane. Okay, it's fucking insane. And this idea that this institution, which is essentially the banking system, is not accountable to the American people is wild. It's wild. $6 trillion is what the Fed has on their balance sheet right now. Okay, unbelievable. But anyway, you guys want to talk about the Fed? I'm happy to talk about the Fed. Put it in the comments. All right, Russell Dixon. That's right. If you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. Great comment, dude. I agree 100%. Most American workers are lazy, stupid, and incompetent. As a tradesman myself, I've seen it over the years, so I personally charge a lot more because I'm quality. Okay, well, King, let me know what you do, man. If you're a tradesperson, that's awesome. Like I said, I'm a lifelong tradesperson myself. I was a furniture maker, cabinet maker. I really started making decent money when I went into aerospace. So I worked for companies like Boeing, Gulfstream, Cessna, companies like that, Hawker Beechcraft, Raytheon. I worked for a lot of those companies and started my own business. And it's been an interesting road. But I want to know what you do, man. That's quality. Quality is very subjective, and a lot of people don't like to hear that, but it's the truth. A lot of people don't want to pay for quality. A lot of people, and King, if you're in quality like you say you are, we're in a K-shaped economy, dude, and the people that are wealthy, right, the people that are getting more and more wealthy, they love quality. They love a story. So it should be a good time for you, man, to make a lot of money. As a tradesman, so I'm very curious how you're doing. So, all right. Also, guys, let us know what part of the country you're in. Like, it's not, you don't have to like tell us specifically, but like I said, my business is St. Louis. I live across the Mississippi here in basically Alton, Illinois. All right. But to King, to what you're saying, most workers are lazy, stupid, and incompetent. I've seen this in my life as a tradesperson as well. I think the American worker is in a lot of trouble. I think that the American worker, I wouldn't say is lazy. They don't have soft skills. They don't know how to do the core functions of being an employee. And the saying that I use a lot is that 50% of making it in life is just showing up on time. That's it. I say this all the time, and I try and tell the young people this. I try and tell people that work for me, like, hey, you want to make it, just show up on time every day, because there's so many people that don't want to do it. So again, if you're there on time, you're going to get all the work. You're going to get the first time. Oh, well, then they become the employee that just does everything. Like, yeah, no shit. You do become the employee that does it. Well, I don't get paid. Okay, well, if you don't get fucking paid for doing everything, then leave. Go be the guy that does everything someplace else, and eventually you will get paid. But as an employer, if I have employees that become what I call tentpole employees, guess what? They're getting paid. And they get paid way more than the lazy fucks that don't want to show up on time. The guy that leaves early on Friday, the guy that shows up late on Monday or calls in late a lot of times on Monday, right? The guy that doesn't want to volunteer. Be that person. Be the person that volunteers for everything. And then guess what? Yeah, you will be working 60 hours a week, doing fucking everything, but you will get paid. So again, as an employer, when people tell me, oh, well, I don't get paid, I am that person, okay? You need to leave. Go find somebody else, because there are small business owners that take care of their people, So I push back on people pretty hard on that one. So, okay, who is this? Is this Paradin? Paradin? Parodin? I don't quite know what your names are. Cool. All right, let's see. What David said is true. The experimental job that you people worship so much has proven to cause harm to people, including killing people. Oh, I think that jab. Yeah, and again, I think there's a lot of truth to that. Again, at the end of the day, the coronavirus was going to kill old people. Old people are always susceptible to anything because you're old. Your immune system isn't what it used to be. You don't take care of yourself the way that you used to. Your body is not as strong as you. It doesn't bounce back. Your bones aren't rubbery like they are when you're young. You're just old. And it's like, oh, we got to protect the elderly. Fuck no, we don't got to protect the elderly. I'm sorry. I don't mean to be, sound like an asshole. You need to protect the elderly. I do not need to protect the elderly. If you got people, again, my wife's mom lives with us, right? Again, you think that during COVID that I wasn't going to go to work because her mom lived with me? Fucking crazy. I still got to pay the rent. I still got employees that need jobs. They got kids to feed. They got houses to pay for. They got rent. They got car payments. They got health insurance, right? This shit requires you to go to work. And the idea that you can just shut the economy down and protect old people, like at this point in my life, I still think that they went so hard on COVID because they need to protect their voter base. Because the truth is that old people vote way more than young people. So like, fuck the young people. We got to protect the voter base, and sorry guys, that's just kind of how I see it. Okay, let's see. How can people say that it's safe and effective when we won't even have the information about it available until 8 years? Yeah, and that's bullshit, right? That's complete horseshit. And same thing with 9/11. Like, where are all of the reports? Oh, we got to protect sources and methods. Fuck your sources and methods, right? We are the American taxpayers. We pay for everything. And this is one of the things that I thought Trump would kind of work on, is that this idea of all this secrecy, and we know it's all bullshit, guys, because Congress literally passed the Epstein Transparency Act. Like, go Google it. November 24th, 2025. They basically had 60 days to get all the documents in line and submitted to the American people. They created a web portal. They put half of them on there. They still haven't released the other half of the Epstein files. Where is your senator? Where is your congressperson saying, motherfucker, if you do not release all of those files like you were congressionally obligated to do, we are going to impeach all of you, every fucking one of you. The Attorney General, gone. Todd Blanche, gone. Donald Trump, we will impeach you, right? We'll impeach everyone in this government if you do not release those files, because we congressionally mandate, the American people crafted legislation through their representatives. The President of the United States signed it. Where's the enforcement? You can't have it. These are the same people that refused to rein the president in on this whole Iran war thing. They refuse to do the work. And this is the problem with our government. I've said it 1,000 times. The American voter is allowed to be wrong. We're allowed to be wrong. We can look back in history and say, you know what? It was bad that America decided that they needed a balanced budget amendment. The American voter crushed the economy. The American voter ushered in a recession. The American voter killed 10 million Americans, right? The American voter is allowed to be wrong. But we never get the opportunity. We only do what these representatives vote for or don't vote for, which is even more telling, right? That SAVE Act thing, you can't get that passed. The Congressional Trading Act, right? The anti-stock trading, you can't get that passed, right? right? Nancy Mace's resolution, right? I think it's a House Resolution 1100 to release the names of the hush money and slush fund that Congress uses to pay off sexual harassment claims. You can't get that out there. Like, you can't get this shit out there that would hold these people accountable and let the American people know how fucking corrupt and disgusting their government is. It just doesn't come out. It's very frustrating. So, at COVID at this point, guys, I don't even know if I even want to talk about COVID. It's just like, what's the point? Until there's accountability, there's no point in bringing back what happened during COVID. Like, what's the point? You know, so whether the jab is good or it's bad, I don't know. I got no idea. You know, so I say it all the time. I refused to get the jab for the longest time. And then it got to a point where it's like, well, if I want to go see my parents are like, fuck that, you're not going to come see me unless you get the jab. And I was like, okay, well, I'll get the Johnson & Johnson, you know, shot, whatever. Like, I'm young, I don't give a fuck. I'm a marathon runner. You know, I lift weights and run and shit. I work in a factory, you know, I lift shit all the time. I'm constantly breathing fresh air. Like, and so I got the jab. You know, I got the Johnson & Johnson one, I got the one. And, you know, worked out, you know, so I don't know, man. All right, Swiss Michael, Kamala told you all, Kamala told you all what Trump would do, but you won't listen to black women. Yeah, I don't know about that. You know, color's not really a thing to me. I mean, yeah, I stereotype. Like, I have my thoughts about all races, you know, fucking black people smoke weed, white people do meth. You know, what do you want? You know, Asian people could probably stand to do some more drugs. You know, okay, let's see. Pardon. Kamala's also said and done countless racist shit, and people don't give a fuck. I'm gonna read your comment one more time. Kamala has also said and done countless racist shit, and people don't give a fuck. Okay, well, again, this isn't a left or right issue, guys. At this point, I think we all kind of know that the entire federal government's corrupt, and there's something about getting into government that makes you susceptible to corruption, no matter how uncorruptible you are. You know, there's something there. All right, Mark Travis, good to see you, dude. See, love the Legoland from Christmas. Yep, again, Legoland for the Christmas story. I know people used to ask me to do the hat thing, whatever. Yeah, I'm a movie guy. I'm a nostalgia guy. I'm an 80s kid. I love movies. I love the 80s. I'm that kind of a guy. So, all right, let's see, it all started with the Federal Reserve, 1913. Yeah, the more we learn about the Federal Reserve, it's just, it seems like that was a bad move, you know, and maybe at the time it was a good move, it was necessary, but yeah, like I said, we could talk, if people want to talk about the Federal Reserve, we'll put it in there. I'm going to go off on a total tear about the monetary system, the hyper-financialization that we have in this country and how it's destroyed America. Anyway, okay, see, I was born in Detroit, 1965, oh, wow, dude, yeah. So Detroit, I mean, yeah, like you guys were at Motor City, USA, you know. From what I understand, Detroit is a shell of what it used to be. I honestly have not been up there in probably 6 or 7 years. I did a race up there one year, a Spartan race. No, it was a Tough Mudder. It was an 8-hour endurance event. You know, it started at midnight and went to 8 o'clock in the morning. Wild event. But yeah, it's from what I understand, Detroit is actually coming back, but it's just been completely hollowed out. From what I understand, the Great Financial Crisis was just death to that city, you know. So, but again, I don't know a ton about it. I do know that American car manufacturers are fucked. They completely fucked you guys during COVID, where they raised their prices insane. Now we've got a ton of people that have loans on cars that aren't worth jack shit. The minute they bought those cars, the value was cut in half, and now the cost of living has gone up significantly. People took on these loans that were way more than they should have been because car manufacturers were charging way more than they should have been, and everyone was taking advantage of everything. And there's a lot of people that they're upside down in their cars. It's a really bad situation right now. A lot of the most American car in America is actually a Tesla, which is fucking crazy. Because the American people bailed out General Motors, right, which owns a lot of car companies. You know, at the time you would have had, you know, Pontiac was a thing at the time. You had Hummer. You had, I'm trying to think of some of the obscure ones. You had Saturn. You had a lot of these, Cadillac. And a lot of these companies were bailed out, and they make all their shit in Japan, in China. It's really fucked up with these countries they've done. They have a lot of their engines and a lot of their electrical wire harnesses are made in Mexico. These American companies that were bailed out by the American taxpayer have shipped a lot of the work to the third world. They overcharged you for all their products. You know, labor unions are also a big problem there. They've made the pay for these people just astronomically high. And again, not to say that people don't deserve to get paid, but you have to have the ability to sell a product at a reasonable price, and you can't always pay people a shit ton of money. You know, and I think there's a big disconnect there between what those workers are making and where their company is going. No, not shit on the auto workers, but enjoy your massive salaries. Your companies are going to go out of business. I hope it was worth it. And you can blame it on, you know, you can blame it on the executives. You can blame it on a myriad of things. But everyone's a problem over there in that industry, as far as I'm concerned. All right. Russell Dixon says, labeling, packaging companies need to be audited also. Yeah. That's a big thing, dude. Great comment, Russell. So what Russell's talking about is what's happening is, like, I'm an importer. For those of you guys who don't know, I import a lot of stuff from India. A lot of brass hardware. We don't make brass hardware in America. It's pretty much only made in the third world. What he's saying is that a lot of countries, like specifically China, they will take their product, right? So if they're being tariffed, you know, 50%, they're going to have their product sent to Vietnam, who's only being tariffed 10%, and then they're going to have it labeled made in Vietnam and then sent to America, so they can pay less on the tariff. And everyone wins in that situation, and that's bullshit. And again, I'm picking on China because they're the easiest country. All countries are doing a version of this. But if you would simply cut them off, no problem, right? This is not an issue. And again, I'm not saying you got to cut off everything, but how about you just don't manufacture in the third world, right? And then when the third world wants to send all their people to America to learn how we do things, how about you tell them to fuck off? Like, create your own fucking universities and educate your own people. But we're losing, you know, this is one of those situations where America loses twice. Like, we're just fucking over our own country so that some very wealthy people can get wealthier. So that some colleges and universities can fleece you, the taxpayer, with government-protected loans, you know, and they're going to educate the American people with bullshit degrees while the Chinese come in here and learn the good shit. It's really fucked up, guys. Like, it's really fucked up, you know. And they'll say, Donald Trump will say, yeah, but these people, they're paying cash. They're going to keep the university system going. The university system needs to crumble. You need to be left with the cream. Right? The really good universities need to be left, and these are the ones that need to set the standard for what the education system needs to be. All the other ones need to go. But this is the country. You're being fleeced, guys. You guys are paying for all this shit. You know, the infrastructure around those colleges, you think fucking China's paying for that? No, you guys are paying for that. You guys are paying for all of it. And the Chinese are just coming here, and they're just taking all of that knowledge, and they're taking it back to China. And they're putting you all out of business. They're taking your jobs. And then when the white-collar MBA gets his degree from Harvard, networks with all of his buddies there in Harvard, he's taking all your fucking, your work, your treasure, and he's sending it over to China. And he's bringing the product back here. He's selling a shit ton of profit, right? He's selling it to you on credit. And it's very frustrating, you know. So, again, I say this as an American business owner. Okay, let's see. Therapist with aspects. Sorry, guys. I'm doing good. Okay, good. I'm doing good in comments. All right, therapist with a space. Therapist with a space, I guess. Interesting name. All right, stop hiding me. I've been tasked with the moderation of this YouTube stream until it's become a problem. This has been outlined. And, okay. I don't know what you're talking about there. I have moderators. You are not one of them, so I'm not sure what you're saying there. Dixon. All right, restricted message. All right, we got moderators in here. All right, Milo. Evil man. Okay, good. Tell me what's evil. Again, you guys got to put something in there. Otherwise, we're going to go back to talking about Donald Trump's campaign that he ran on, and then what he's actually doing. We're going to talk a little bit about that. So keep the comments coming, and we'll bat the comments back and forth. All right, Brandon says, holy neckbeard. I know my wife's always telling me, you need to shave, you need to be cleaned up, you need to look better, blah, blah, blah. It's like, I'm a fucking furniture maker, woman. I don't know what you want me to do. I'm covered in dust. She says, you're so dusty when I come home. You're just dirty. Don't sit on the... It's like this is what money looks like. Money is dust. I'm dusty because this is money. This is how we make this thing work. And pretty funny. All right, potty mouth. Yep, got potty mouth. I can't help it. Milo Solo. Imagine having to listen to him every day. I know it's terrible. Okay, it's these dumb Trumper. Okay, well, I know I'm a Trumper, but I did vote for Trump. All right, all right, first Avenger in here. First Avenger. I was glad you're being here, dude. I don't always agree with you, but I love when we have people that come in and that have been in this cast for a long time and throw their comments in there. All right, when the rich rob the poor, it's called business. When the poor fight back, it's called violence. Yeah, something like that. To your point, First Avenger, what I'll say about that is I hear a lot of this. The communists are coming. The communists are coming. Socialism. We're ushering in socialism, and I happen to think that it's a byproduct of fleecing the American people. If you I mean, look at it like this. Like here's everyone can relate to this. Like I said, if I own a business, right? You're an employee, right? If I have a choice, and this is sorry guys, I'm gonna give you the brutal truth from a business owner standpoint, okay? If I have a company, right, I need workers, right? I got to make products, I make widgets in order to sell to people, right? I have something that you want, right? You give me money, I give you a thing. Well, if I'm being like brutally honest, right? So I make furniture, right? So I can pay a guy, a furniture maker, to make furniture. Right? Okay. That job pays anywhere from $25 to $45 an hour here in America. Okay. Now, in order for me to hire you, I got to have insurance, right? I got to have insurance for you, but I also got to have insurance for the building, right? So I got to deal with the American insurance market, right? And this is essentially you need to look into your insurance commissioner to understand how this works. Okay. So I've got to do that, right? I got to have a break room, right? It's got a place for you to, eat food. And maybe I got to make a comfortable work environment, right? I got to have I got to make sure that the place is safe. I got to make sure you got good equipment. I got to make sure you got material stocked. I got to make sure all this stuff happens. If I just pay a guy in China to do it, I don't have to really fucking do any of that. I can pay $1.50 an hour, no insurance, no fucking break room. That's someone else's responsibility. If you get injured, I don't need insurance. Who gives a fuck? You don't work for me. You work for, dim sum company in Vietnam. Wealthy people will, if left unchecked, and I'm trying to word this in a very politically correct way, but if they are allowed to run rampant, they will destroy this country, okay? And everyone always says, well, if they don't pay people, right, if they just use China to make everything or bring the third worlders in here from Mexico, right, if they do that, well, then who's going to buy their products, right? And the answer, we're seeing the answer right now. They'll buy their own products, okay? The K-shaped economy that we have right now, okay, when I was just down in West Palm Beach, okay, everything is crazy expensive. These companies are making money hand over fist. They're bringing in tons of money. You're like, well, the commoners, they're gonna, if there's no more people to buy their products, or what are you gonna do with them? Okay, and I tell you guys all the time, they're gonna put you all in UBI. Elon Musk talks about it. The people that found these AI companies, they talk about it all the time. You are all gonna be on UBI. That's what it's gonna boil down to. You're like, yeah, but we'll want to buy their stuff, right? The corporations would happily pay you guys $30,000 a year to be on welfare, to be on UBI. They'll happily subsidize your housing. They'll happily give you an internet subscription. You got Netflix. They'll give you, whatever bullshit food you want. They'll happily do that so that they don't have to hire you. They would much rather bring Jose in from Mexico because he's not going to bitch. He's not going to complain. He doesn't give a fuck about insurance. He's not going to go crying to HR. He doesn't really give a fuck about the break room that much. He just wants to make money because he's never seen anything so good in his life. You, the average American, are decadent. You're spoiled. You're lazy, right? And then they can send the work over to China where they don't have to pay for any of the bullshit that you need as a worker. And this is the world we're creating. So when First Avenger says, that the poor, or excuse me, the rich are basically robbing from the poor, what's happening is America is seeing this happen. They're realizing, like, fuck me, I can't make any money. The corporations don't want to pay me enough to live. Housing's way too expensive. Food's way too expensive. Insurance is expensive. No one wants to pay me to do anything, right? I'm not worth jack shit. And even if I am, they're going to bring the third world in, or they're going to send my job to the third world, okay? So what's the average person to do, right? So the average person say, okay, I see all this. They don't want to pay me any money. They don't want to give me insurance. They don't want to incentivize me to have children. They don't want me to live a life that I think is worthwhile, that, 100 years of, or 250 years of America has been living to some version or another. So I'm going to vote for someone that is going to help me, right? The corporations don't want to pay me. And they're like, well, you need to fucking learn your skills. You need to be more of an employee that I want. And you need to do this. And it's always you. Well, hey, motherfucker, as a business owner, why don't you try training people? Why don't you try to give people the skills that they need to be successful in your country? Because if you don't do this, the American will vote in socialism, right? It will happen. And again, as a business owner, I don't want that. But I also understand that my job as a business owner is to train people to the best of my ability. And it's not easy. It's really fucking hard, and I can't always do it. I fully admit this. It's easy to say this, very difficult to do it. But people will vote in universal health care. They will vote in a 94% tax on wealth, right? They will vote in workers' rights, more labor unions, more safety, subsidies for childcare, subsidies for housing, subsidies for food. People will vote this stuff into existence through the ballot box. And corporations and right-leaning people and whatever you want will call it communism. They'll call it socialism. They'll call it whatever they want. But the truth is, they did this. And they're trying to beat you up for wanting a piece of the pie, which is your birthright, which is America. And not that it was supposed to be easy. I'm not saying it's supposed to be easy. It's not. But what we have going on today, I don't think is what we voted for. I don't think it's what we believe America to be. I think a lot of people are seeing what's happening, and people will cloak what's happening as socialism and communism, and it's not. It's capitalism run amok. And I say this as a business owner. I say I have 11 employees, guys. Like I'm not a fucking YouTuber. I don't have a garage where I make furniture and I tell you guys I'm super rich. I'm not that. I'm just a normal fucking business owner. I'm an average business. An average business in America has less than 10 employees. Okay, that's what real America is. But we've forgotten this, and I'm here to tell you guys, that they're going to cloak whatever they have to in socialism, and they're going to try and make you feel bad about wanting a home. They're going to make you feel bad about not owing a shit ton to colleges and to universities. They're going to make you feel bad about thinking that, hamburgers shouldn't be a luxury. They're going to make you feel bad about thinking that, having a car payment is bad, right? They're going to make you feel bad about anything they possibly can so that you continue to vote the way we've been voting. And what we've seen is Donald Trump has fucked us so bad. I've never felt so betrayed in my entire life. And as a lifelong Republican, conservative type individual that is a business owner and a capitalist, I will vote blue no matter who to fuck this guy as hard as I possibly can, because I could never physically be there to do it myself. Okay, I will do it through the ballot box because it's the only tool that I have. And this is how most Americans feel today. They cannot get what they want, which is a modicum of the American dream, a modicum of the American dream. And you have to deal with boomers and these old fucks telling you that you just need to work harder. Pick yourself up by your bootstraps. Okay, again, I got employees. I know what's going on in the real world. When they tell me, hey, I need to make more money. Hey, can you pay me under the table? Because if I make more money, I qualify for less shit. I hear this kind of stuff. Oh, childcare is too expensive. Oh, well, I'm going to give you a raise. Oh, no, I don't know that I want a raise. What's happening in society is crazy, guys. It's fucking nuts. Everybody should want their home price to go up and their salary to go up. But something is happening in the economy where people don't want their salary to go up. Because they don't want their taxes to go up. They don't want their property insurance to go up. They don't want their property taxes to go up. They don't want to make more money because then they qualify for less benefits from the federal government, whether that's, I don't know what kind of benefits people are getting. It's healthcare, some kind of food assistance. I don't know what these benefits are. People don't want to make more money. They just want more help. And it used to be help was making more money, and now something is off, So, all right, guys, keep going through comments. All right, First Avenger, good to see you, dude. Glad you're here. Love your comment, man. I love Mark Twain. Mark Twain's said a lot of great shit. We got Mark Twain National Forest here in Missouri. So, anyway, all right, the DEP official, so that's why I think a group of technocrats, intelligence, highly intelligent people should choose the candidates that run, and the people can elect a lot of them to get a lot of those to keep candidates. Well, so your comment's interesting because technically a technocrat did choose the president. Like Donald Trump wouldn't have been elected without Elon Musk. Elon Musk thought that Donald Trump was going to be way better than Kamala Harris. Donald Trump was going to bring in Doge, right, which is a great thing, which is a technocrat's idea for how to get the government to operate within its means. Guess what happened? They told Doge to fuck off. Elon left. He's like, man, this thing can't be fixed. Like, it cannot be fixed. They started firebombing Tesla dealerships. All the Doge cuts, $220 billion in identified cuts. Of all of them, the only things that were enacted were the PBS funding got cut, and one of the NGO groups got cut. It was like $9 billion. That's it. And then when the next administration comes in, they just put all that shit back. That's it. It's nothing Donald Trump has done is going to stay in law because none of it was put into law. The only thing that was put into law was the one big beautiful bill and some other bullshit ancillary, social shit. Nothing's going to help you was put into law, guys. I'm sorry. It just wasn't, so I don't know if it's a technocrat issue. I just think there needs to be a balance. You got to have a balance. And again, if you guys in the chat, hit the like button, add discussion. I'm going to keep going through comments. And again, I appreciate everyone adding discussion. It looks like I'm a little bit behind, but I'm not too bad. I'm going to keep going through. For those of you guys who don't know, my name is Eric Wilk, and I own the Resplendent Crow here in St. Louis, Missouri. We are a fine furniture company. We have about 11 employees. We ship furniture all over the country. It's a great little business, and so when I talk to you guys about anything, that's where I'm talking about from. As a business owner in St. Louis, Missouri, shipping furniture all over the country. Never graduated high school, somehow figured this thing out. And so you guys want to know about business. You want to know about how an idiot gets a business going. You want to know about furniture, painting, all these kind of things. That's what I got here. So this is what this channel is. Okay, that's why I think okay, I got to read your comment. Official. I didn't notice your leg lamp. Yeah, that's from a Christmas Story. Great. My mom sent it to me, showed up in a crate. It was pretty cool. Yeah, it's an official leg lamp. It's not from the movie, but it is official. It's pretty cool. All right. See, I guess that's Detroit isn't really a city anymore. It's just a battlefield of people fighting amongst themselves and Muslims. Yeah, again, guys, like, I don't do the racist shit here. Actually, I'm married to an immigrant, and I hire immigrants. I've got, I think I've got something like five different nationalities of people that work for me. The racism thing really bothers me, just like the whole Jew thing really bothers me. I don't support any of that, And again, if you had a government that was honest, a lot of these race issues wouldn't even be a thing. Like, for those of you guys who don't know, like, so I'm 47 years old, so when I grew up in the 90s, we didn't have racism. People say, oh, racism has always existed. Like, fuck no, it didn't. We didn't have racism. Racism was gone in the mid-90s. It wasn't a thing. And it was, oh, fucking Rodney King, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, of course, there's always going to be racism. But, like, we were embracing, rap culture, movie culture. Like, the whole black experience thing was literally integrated into white society. We had black friends, and we all did, black shit together. We talked black, right? The Hispanic people were just starting to come in. Like, this was not a thing. And the minute you put Barack Obama in office, fucking racism's back alive and well. You put Trump in office, now it's the Muslims and the Islamic people and fucking brown people. And it's just like racism is not a thing, guys. It's a thing if you make it a thing. And everyone talks about, oh, fucking Detroit, it's Somalis and Muslims. Like, where the fuck did you think those people came from? You think they just showed up here? Like, we destroyed their countries. Be honest about where this stuff came from, guys. We destroyed their countries, and they ended up here as refugees. Okay, I know this because I'm a furniture maker from Syria. Okay, so I don't want to hear this fucking, oh, these Muslims, blah, blah, blah. It's like, no, your government did this, guys. Your government did this by destroying the Middle East in the name of capitalism, right? In the name of democracy. Like, we did this shit. And now these people are here, and the government is literally using these people against you to get you to vote for them. And it's disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting what's happened here. I don't know if people agree with it. This is how I see it. We had cured racism in this country. Okay, they brought it back. They needed a weapon to get you people to fight against each other, and racism is the perfect tool. It's the perfect tool. All right, James Galbraith, 6331. You used up all the glue. Yeah, I don't know about that, man. Dark Hobo, great name. I live in Detroit. It's nicer than every red state. Awesome, dude. I'm glad to hear that. Let me know what you like about Detroit. The pictures I've seen said that like Detroit as a city is making a great comeback, but I believe it got decimated during the great financial crisis. So, all right, so you would know Republicans can't afford to travel. I don't know about that, dude, but appreciate your comment. Let's see, Darko, too poor, too stupid to make money. Just gonna ask Uncle Sam for everything. Okay, well, appreciate it. I don't think I do that. I think I've never taken a dime from the federal government, other than roads and stuff like that. But I guess I did take an IDL. We did get some of that sweet IDL money during COVID, and what was it on PPP? We got some of that sweet money too. So thanks, taxpayer. All right, Reverse Flash. Of course, I was also employing 22 people at the time, so I hope that was worth something. All right, Reverse Flash 180. The whole government is corrupt, from drug dealing to kids selling to gun selling. Yeah, it's all bad. Look at that Operation Fast and Furious. We were fucking selling guns there in South America through the CIA. Like, or through the FBI. Like, what a fucking joke. Like, that's just disgusting. Why was it Eric Holder at the time? Why that guy wasn't brought up on charges? I don't know. Why the director of the FBI wasn't brought up on charges over that kind of stuff? I don't know. It's just like the whole COVID thing. Like, we manufactured the virus that caused the COVID epidemic, and we just want to act like we didn't do that. We literally created the hate that the Middle East has for America, and we want to act like we didn't do any of that. Like, I'm baffled by the hypocrisy of, I don't know if it's the American people or if it's the government. We just refuse to look in the mirror and say, like, hey, you know what? We fucking did a lot of this shit. And, this is how I see it. All right, Jim Rat, good to see you, dude. Jim Rat's back in here. I live in California. It's a Democrats mecca. Liberal Democrats like Gavin Newsom have ruined. Yeah, and again, Jim Rat, I say this all the time. I grew up in Oregon, guys. For you guys to know, I grew up in picturesque Corvallis, Oregon. It's like fucking Silverdale in the Joe Dirt movie. It's like picturesque America with the rolling hills and the mountains and the vineyards. Couldn't afford to live there. I wasn't smart enough. But what happened was the California culture moved north starting in the 90s. They started leaving California. They were buying up all of our land in Oregon, and then they migrated further north to Washington, which kind of created this .com type economy, right? You have Silicon Valley down in California, right? Palo Alto and all these kind of places. And then you have in Seattle, you have a lot of these internet-based companies, Microsoft, Amazon, things like that. And it's a big deal, but destroyed my state, destroyed the state of Oregon. The California culture creeped up there. Everything became about education and technology. And you couldn't be a normal dude there anymore. It just didn't exist. Like, you couldn't be a hunter. You couldn't be one of these people that you just wanted to fish and hunt. You were basically a troglodyte and idiot. So yeah, so I had to move. I just couldn't afford to live there anymore. But yeah, I saw it happen. So Jim Rat, I don't know. I feel your pain. Your guys' state is fucked. My wife loves it there. She thinks it's a great place. I will never go to California. You can't even get me to visit that fucking state unless I got a customer that has an issue in there. I won't go to California. I can't. It's the most beautiful state in the country. And it's also just the ideology is I can't do it. Good luck to California. Beautiful, beautiful state. Swanky Sasquatch, great name. 66. See, this is pointless. Okay, all right. Well, let us know what is pointless. Put it in the chat, man. We need a rebellion for the. Yeah, we do need something. Trump was supposed to be the rebellion. Like, Trump was our Obi-Wan-Kenobi. He's supposed to bring balance back to the Force. Right? The society, especially during COVID, has swung so far left, so totalitarian, that Trump was supposed to come back and make people remember what America was about, and he didn't do it. Like, he didn't do it. And again, I'm trying to go through Trump's platform. I got it here in front of my screen. I'm trying to go through it, like sealing the border. Check. You did a great job on that one. Carry out the largest mass deportation. Okay, well, he made it to number 1, and that was about it. Now he's just like he can't get anything done, and I don't know why he's given up. But we need something in this country. I don't know if it's revolution. I think we just need accountability. If we would just have accountability, that would take care of it. You know, again, and you could start, like, why not start with Alejandro Mayorkas, right? Let him be the baseline, right? Every year he would go before Congress, and some congressperson would ask him, is the border secure? Every year he'd say, absolutely. Because by their textbook definition, by their educated definition, it probably was. So how the fuck did 2.5 million people get in here? Well, that part of the equation is just not addressed. Therefore, it's not relevant. Therefore, you're not liable for it. And this is the problem. So why not just have accountability, right? Why hasn't the Department of Defense passed an audit? They're wanting $1.5 trillion. Where's the fucking audit? You're telling me that if the IRS showed up at your door and said, hey, we're going to audit your tax records, and you said, you know what? I'll give you about 80% of my tax records, and you can audit those. But the rest of them, slow your roll. What would happen? Like, they would haul you into court. They would put liens on your property. They'd take money out of your fucking bank account. They would make your life hell. They would literally sell off all your shit after they got a judgment for you to pay your back taxes. The Department of Defense, shut up, taxpayer. Shut up, wagey. Stop asking questions. You don't know. How did 2.5 million people every year come across the border during the Biden administration? We needed those workers. We needed people. Those are people. They're trying to escape economic poverty. They're refugees. What? You said the fucking border was secure. How did they get in here? You let them in. Would you do that in your own house, right? So if you know, whatever, Joe Blow congressperson shows up with, you know, Jose from Mexico. Hey, Jose's here. He's going to live with you. Be like, what the fuck? Get the fuck out of here. America is our home. And these people don't give a shit, right? And why is that? Because they want the cheap labor. They want employees that don't care about American regulations. That's what they want. They want access to people that really want to work. You know, and you say, oh, Eric, you can't say that about the American people. Oh, yeah. Oh, yes, I can. You're telling me that you think that there's it's just an odd coincidence that all the fucking roofers in the state of Florida are Mexicans or Cubans? You think that's like it's just that region of the country? No, it's because they fucking really work hard. You think it's a coincidence that in the back of every restaurant, whether it's Asian food, American food, Mexican food, Italian food, they're all Mexican. You think that's an odd coincidence? No, it's because they really work. And this is a major thing that America needs to get right with. But the first step is implementing E-Verify. The first step is mass deportations. Get these fucking people out of here. And then you look at every American, right, like I'm doing right now, and you say, okay, bitch, I implemented E-Verify. I will fine any company that hires an illegal worker that doesn't have the correct documentation or is not here legally. And I dragged every fucking person off the job site that was here illegally. I took them all out of the restaurants. I took them all out of the hotels. Get to fucking work. You show up on time. You do your job to the best of your ability. And guess what? You're going to get paid because the business owner is not going to go do that work himself. He will happily pay you more money as an American to do that job legally. And this is where we're at, guys. Like, this is the cold, hard reality of what we have going on in this country. And right now, nobody wants to do anything. The fucking American worker doesn't want to work that hard, and they're happy to let the wetback come in and do the fucking work. They're happy. They're happy to let the H-1B visa worker come in here and do all the IT work because IT work's gay. IT work sucks. It's like, that's what the fucking job is, guys. Well, I don't like that job. Well, hey, fuck you. Get to work. Oh, I don't want, I'm above that. I got a college degree. Yo, go fuck yourself. Go fuck yourself, dude. You're not so great. Oh, I got this degree. I went and I followed the plan. Yeah, your plan fucking sucks. You need to go find a new plan. Guess what? There's 1,000 construction jobs. Oh, I don't want to do that. It's dirty. Well, then you don't get shit. You're going to be poor. You're going to be destitute. You can go live with your boomer parents. Okay? It has to go both ways, guys. And nobody wants to do it. No one wants to have this conversation. No one wants to be real about this shit. They just want everything to continue as is. You know, the wealthy, they're going to get their cheap third world labor in China. They're cheap fucking gardeners and they're cheap restaurant workers, right? And then the white people, they can go to college and delude themselves into thinking they're intelligent and super valuable because they got a fucking piece of paper from some guy who sucks at what he does, which is why he's a teacher to begin with. The poor people, they get their fucking welfare, their Section 8. They don't know any better. You know, oh, just give me my fucking SNAP benefits. We don't even call it food stamps anymore, you know, because it's degrading. Oh, well, you don't like black people. Fuck black people. They need to get off welfare. I'm the guy that hires people. I'll hire black people. I don't give a shit. But you got to fucking show up on time. You got to work. You got to talk right. You can't be fucking high and loaded all the time. Same thing with the fucking white people. Cracker-ass motherfuckers. All they want to do is smoke meth and steal shit. We got to get right about our culture, guys. Like, this isn't black people, this is white people, Muslims, Asians. Our culture's sick. You know, we got to fix this culture. So, sorry, guys. I apologize. That's, people probably don't like that stuff. All right, Dems be special evil, confusing kids at a young age. Yes, I agree, Cosmos. We have a lot of indoctrination going on in this country. A ton of it. You know, it's really bad. Great comment, dude. I think that's amazing comment, actually. Let's see. This is a nuisance account. Laughing at Jim Rat. Love it when people say things like this. California, live rent free. California is just such a dichotomy. It's literally the most beautiful country. I spent a bunch of time in New Zealand, guys, and California is like New Zealand, but in America. Like, you can go ski in the morning and then go down to the beach in the afternoon. Like, it's a really cool place. You got beautiful vineyards. You got some of the most beautiful architecture in the world. It's just an amazing place. Like, you got the redwood forest, the sequoia trees, and it's just like incredible, amazing place. But it's so nice that people are fucking retarded. It makes people dumb, They think that every place should operate like that, and everyone should believe them because it's so expensive and so beautiful, and only the best of the best can technically live there. That ideology is just like, whew, yeah, it's wild. All right, too cool 765. Trump will probably be our last president. I don't know if he'll be our last president, but he's I hope Trump's opened up people's eyes, And again, I've tried to. I mean, let me go through the next thing. I've got like 20 things here in Trump's platform to become president. We went through 2 of them so far. You guys have had so many comments; it's hard for me to get to. His third line out, right? The first one was seal the border, right? The second one was start the largest mass deportation in American history, and the third is end inflation. Well, how do you guys end inflation, right? And for those of you guys who know how inflation works, right? Essentially, if you have, whatever, $1,000 in the money supply, and then you add another 1,000, right? You dilute that. That means that there's more people with more money that can potentially buy everything, right? And that's a good thing. The problem is that if you don't increase the supply of goods that people can purchase, everyone has to raise their prices. And this is what happens, during an inflationary situation. Trump is not working on the supply side. I mean, you heard it in his latest comment about fucking housing. Well, I don't want to crush people's housing prices because we got people that don't want to work very hard. Like, fuck you, motherfucker. Like, were you not 21 before? Right? Were you not a young person before? What do you fucking mean you don't want to crush house prices? What he's saying is he says he doesn't want to increase the housing supply because young people, he calls them, they don't want to work very hard because he doesn't want young people to have access to housing. This is not complicated, guys. You want to lower the price of anything? Add supply. The federal government is literally there to incentivize things. That is their sole job, right? Why don't you incentivize housing? The problem with the government incentivizing housing is that it lasts too long. So if you incentivize it for a long time, guess what happens? The price comes down. So they just like to give people money. They're like, here, take $500 a month for food. We can keep producing food. Like, it gets used up really quick. Let's do bombs. Let's incentivize bombs. You constantly use up bombs and munitions all the time. This is what the government's doing. They're trying to keep the money, the velocity of money cruising instead of making shit that would actually get the supply to grow. I don't know. It doesn't seem very complicated to me, guys. Anyway, love your comment, though. All right, let's see. Do you need to work harder? Okay, this is Edward THC. Okay, dude. Well, I don't know what to tell you, man. I think I work pretty hard. Let's see. SPS Auto. PBS just didn't serve PBS just didn't serve the public and was far from it. Yeah, I agree. And again, I think PBS was bullshit. I don't think the government should be paying for that kind of stuff. Anyway, so neutral means equal or both sides, equal amounts of Nazi, leftism, MAGA, conservative. Great comment, dude. I agree with you 100%. And that's the thing. Like, you can't, same thing with like this whole Planned Parenthood thing. Like, I'm sorry, you can't fund that shit. You can't, because it's polarizing, right? Government isn't supposed to be doing polarizing shit, you know? The government is there to make the Americans' lives better. That's it. Not one person, not another person. It needs to make everybody's lives better, or at least everyone needs to have the opportunity to have their life made better because of what the government is doing. This is one of the reasons the government needs to stay out of most things. States can get a little more intrusive because you can leave a state and move to another state. But when you make everything federal, there's nowhere to go. There's nowhere to go. So, all right, let's see, what does race have to do with immigrants? Racism has to do with a lot with immigrants, dude. Let's see, you mean xenophobic. Xenophobic, okay, great. Thanks for the clarification. Let's see, he was racial comedy in the 90s. Racism doesn't exist as a vacuum. Okay, I don't believe racism. I don't believe much in racism. I just don't. Like, I believe in stereotypes. I believe in, you know, people being, you know, all kinds of things. Stereotyping is 100% real. Like, we tell people it's not, but it is. Oh, you can't have that thought about one group of people. It's like, motherfucker, if I've had an interaction with lots of people over my 47 years, and I know that this particular group of people generally does this thing, I'm allowed to stereotype. It doesn't make me a bad person, but they're black, so you can't think that. Okay, well, it seems to be like all the fucking people that smoke the weed, and wherever I go, they're always black. Okay, I'm gonna start associating that with them. Well, you shouldn't do that. Okay, fuck you. I can do whatever I want. I'm an American. I can have any thought that I want. Oh, but you didn't, you know, weren't you educated in the indoctrination system that is our, you know, the academic culture in America? We've told you that's bad. Okay, well, sorry, I wasn't a part of it. So, all right. No, immigrants are ruining everything, and people are noticing. I don't think that immigrants are ruining everything. Like I said, with anything in life, you got to be able to look at it subjectively, right? Or excuse me, objectively. You got to be able to look at it and say, you know what? Like, yeah, these immigrants are coming in here. They sure do work really hard. They sure show up on time. They sure don't have the, you know, they don't ask for a lot of draws on their paychecks. They don't seem to have a lot of family drama bullshit. They seem to work overtime, and they seem to not mind working at night. They seem to just be like good workers. You know, it's like you could have that and then say, yeah, but they're taking American jobs. I agree, 100%. Yeah, but you got to be able to look at both sides of the equation. Well, if they weren't here, you know, Whitey and Blackie would have more access to jobs and they'd be paid better. Yeah, they'd still be shitty fucking workers, right? They'd still be shitty. They still would not show up on time, not be dressed appropriately, you'll be on their fucking phones all the time, not doing a good job, making mistakes and not, you know, trying to fix them. They suck at learning, you know, they bitch about everything. Like, you would still have that say, you got to be honest. And I don't hear enough people being honest about why these people are here. It's always just like, oh, they're just taking our jobs. It's like that stupid South Park, well, they're taking our jobs, you know. Like, yeah, they are, because most of you fucking suck. You're unemployable. You know, and again, I don't think that that's fair, but it is real. Oh, I'm a good worker. Everyone always says, I'm a great worker. Like, great, you're the fucking one. You're the exception, dude. You're the exception. I go, what have I hired and fired 100 people in my life? You're fucking telling me that I don't know what I'm talking about? Most people have never hired and fired people. Most people don't have to deal with society at the level of being an employer. So there you go. There's some more real shit for you. All right, racism doesn't exist. Bush did that. Skull and bones. Oh boy, here we go. Talking about the skulls. Yeah, the Illuminati. All right, Mr. Good Citizen. Good to see you, dude. You see, yuppie, we meddle in foreign affairs way too much. Yeah, and again, if let's think about this whole thing. Like, it's like, okay, the economy sucks. America's becoming unaffordable. Look, Muslims. Look, Iran hates us. Look, I'm gonna go drop some bombs over here. Hey, look at what's going on over here in Russia. Fuck off. Like, stop paying attention to all this third world bullshit. Oh, we need the oil. We got to preserve the petrodollar. Okay? America produces more oil than any country on Earth. On Earth. Go look at the numbers. Go look at where we get our oil from. America uses 20 million barrels of oil a day. Okay? We make 14 of it right here. We get another 4 to 5 from Canada. We get some from Mexico and we get some from Saudi Arabia. That's the reality, okay? The problem, and this is, again, where I bash on California, we don't have any fucking refineries. We haven't built a refinery in 30 years. We can't make power stations here in America. We can't do anything in this country. So we need all these other countries to do all the real work, to do the dirty work. We can't fix this fucking country until we're willing to acknowledge what the real problems are. It's the fact that we don't want to do anything here. We're too good for that dirty work. We're too good for money. You know, one of the largest deposits of rare earth materials in California, you can't get it. Like, we don't want to fix this country. We want to go bomb countries. We want to create problems using your tax dollars so that we can then use your tax dollars to go fix said problem that we created. And we do this all over the world. And we call it being the global police. We call it protecting the waterways. We talk about protecting globalism, right? Or globalization. Like, we talk about protecting the supply chains. It's all horseshit, guys. It's all fucking horseshit. Every bit of it. America is almost a completely self-sufficient island in the middle, in the middle of two oceans. It's incredible what we have here. And we have corrupted how amazing this country is in service to extremely educated and extremely wealthy individuals at the cost of every normal, average person here. And again, if you don't want to work for the wage, well, they'll just bring somebody in here from the third world. You don't want to make automobiles, you don't want to make furniture, you don't want to, make anything. Well, we'll just let China do it. And then we keep adding regulation. We keep stripping away the work in this country that used to be normal, that paid real living wages. We strip it away. And we tell you, well, you need to go get educated. You don't want to be a coal miner. Coal miner, that's what the poor people do. That's what losers do. You're like, well, last I looked, a coal miner makes about $128,000 a year. Yeah, but it's dirty. He should go off to Caltech and learn to be a geologist. And we've done this for 25 years, guys. And now we're left with a country where no one can fucking make any money. You have the haves and the have-nots. And if you're in the middle, motherfucker, you better figure out how to get up here, because if not, you will end up down here. And the economy, right? And I say this as a guy who makes very expensive, luxurious products for the wealthy. If you do not learn to service the wealthy people, you'll be stuck down here with fucking UBI. You will get whatever is left for the cretins and the serf class, because we refuse to be honest about what is happening in this country. We're watching a president lie every day, and the media is not challenging him. You get a couple people that will every now and again, but they're not challenging this guy. The media's job is literally to contradict everything that you say, to look for lies, to look for manipulation, to look for corruption. But they don't do it because the access is more important than the crime. Every time Trump says, oh, we got the Strait of Hormuz open, why isn't every reporter in America saying, yeah, motherfucker, last year, 53 fucking tankers were going through that place. Now there's one. Every day you get one tanker going through there, and you tell me that motherfucker's open, that we have access, and we are letting people do, we have control of it all, America the Great. Like, fuck you, man. Stop lying to me. Stop gaslighting me and tell me how great everything is when I fucking know it's not. You cry about Madani over there. Oh, he's implementing socialism with grocery stores. And then you're like, well, I guess we need to bring all this beef in here. We're going to sell it under market rate. Like, which is it? Is it communism or fucking capitalism? Do you stand for anything? I'm here to protect the American worker. We're going to bring manufacturing back to America. We're going to tariff the third world, kick out all the illegals. Oh, we need those people. We need all those Chinese students to come in here and prop up the universities. We need those workers. I don't want to hurt the business owners. They need that labor. Greatest job market ever. Low unemployment. Why aren't people saying, well, hey, how many people are out of the job market? What's the labor force participation rate? Well, I don't want to talk about that. How come more Americans have 2 and 3 jobs now than have ever existed in this country's history? Oh, shut up. Shut up, panicking. Like, I can't As a Republican conservative type dude, like I can't wrap my head around the gaslighting and the lies. Like if I expect my people to be honest and people in my orbit to be honest and truthful, why don't we get that from our politicians and our media class? And the people that are supposed to help direct this country where it needs to go. Keep it, keep it going north. Steer the rudder, whatever fucking nautical term you want to use. Like, why can't we expect that from our politicians and the people that run this? What happened? What happened? I mean, if you had a family member or a friend that talked to you the way our president talks to us, you wouldn't be friends with them. Wouldn't you be honest? Like if your best friend was fucking around on his wife and you knew about it, and he's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go fuck this bitch, we're gonna go to this hotel, it's gonna be awesome, man. Like I know I've been married for 10 years and I got 3 kids, but it's like I can't turn it down. It's so good, man, it's so sweet. You'd be like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, I can't be around you, dude. Like, this is disgusting. And if you do, that means you're just as bad as they are. Yet this is the world we live in. It's like, well, he's on my side. He's in my group, so I'm going to be okay with it. Like, no, man, no. We got to be better than this. Like, we got to be better, man. Like, and again, I say it all the time. Like, if I got to choose between spending $2 billion a day bombing Iran and keeping a navy and fucking military over in the Middle East, or I spend $2 billion a day paying off medical debt or paying off student loans, I'm spending that money here. And I don't even believe in that shit. I don't believe in it. But I know that that is helping an American more than our military being over in the Middle East. Whatever we're doing, whether we're protecting democracy or, we're sucking Benjamin Netanyahu's dick. I don't know what it is. We're, paying off Miriam Adelson. We're protecting the monarchy in Saudi Arabia. I don't know what we're doing over there, and I don't give a fuck. We're protecting the petrodollar. Fuck you, man. Fuck you. You're so smart, you find another way to keep America dominant. And if I got to be the guy that says, you know what, I'm going to have some morals and some integrity, maybe I'm, the bad guy. Maybe I don't deserve to be an American. Maybe I don't deserve to operate a business and employ people and try and, be the change that I want to see. Maybe I'm the fool. I don't know. But man, we're in wild times, man. Wild times. All right, Frank Rimmon, why don't you go back to make furniture and stay away from politics? Well, Frank, because I'm a person, and I can only make so much furniture and make videos about it, I like to talk about politics. I like to talk about it because I'm a business owner, because I do employ a lot of people, and because I do think that I do think that my way of doing things in this country would be, while destabilizing at first, is actually what needs to happen. And again, it's just a challenge. You have to watch, man. Like go listen to somebody else talk about it. So go listen to the same people talk about the same shit over and over again. I've got a real business. I've got a real opinion, and I do the videos about furniture making. I talk about politics a little bit. I talk about society. I talk about these because I'm a real person, and you guys are real people. And I like to talk to you because I want to know about what's really happening in this country. And I think this is one of the only ways to really figure it out, So that's why I do it, Frank. Eric Powell, good to see you, dude. In the name of Zionism. Yeah, there's something there. SPS Auto, it's because America pays for foreign experiments and then has to send soldiers to cover it. Yeah, man, like horrible. But you're 100% right. Mr. Good Citizen, 9914. We need to start meddling in our own business. Yeah, I agree, 100%, man. Great comment. The latest racism is being manufactured. I think so too. I think racism is fucking bullshit. Adam McFarland, let's see. Socialite lefties would tell you employing 20 people is evil if you make any money for yourself. Yeah, and again, but making money is everyone always says, well, you got a fiduciary responsibility. A business's only job is to make money for its shareholders. I'm so tired of hearing this, right? I say it all the time, and my wife thinks I'm delusional, and I agree, it's a delusional thought. But I think that our job as Americans and as business owners is to employ people. It's to give them skills and jobs so they can buy houses and buy cars and start families and live a decent, comfortable life. If you grow your skills, you grow your value, everybody wins. We business owners, we pay our people to do a good job. We pay them more. The more they can do for us, the more we do for them, right? The more money you make for me, the more money I'm going to pay you. I believe that this is how society is supposed to work. And I don't think that we're living in this kind of a society right now. I think that what's happening is that, again, everyone is going to end up on UBI unless you're super useful, unless a business, you're just like one of these elite type exceptional people. Everyone's going to end up on UBI because everyone's, not that useful anymore, especially when you could outsource to the third world and bring the third world in this country. You don't need to train Americans. You don't need to educate our people. You don't need to give people real practical mechanical information. You don't need to give people real problem solving skills or give people real real experiences on how life actually works. Like, you just fill their heads full of bullshit. Keep them engaged on the internet. Keep them looking at fucking YouTube, watching Netflix, going to college and getting their education. Don't give them any real type of work, any real practical things. And that's what I think is going on, man. It's just, it's so frustrating. I talk about it all the time. I want a public-private partnership, right? So for those I know, my factory is around kind of an urban community, right? Which a lot of factories are. But we should be hiring from these urban communities. But the truth is, I won't hire any of these fucking people. It's not worth it. They're too fucking retarded. Like, the base money I have to pay them to get them into the door, right, is not worth what they do to the business. And again, I think that's wrong, but that is reality, right? What I need as a business owner, if I'm going to hire these people, because they don't know how to do any of this work. They don't have any fucking dads. They don't know how to do shit. They've never been told how to operate in polite society. They've never been told, no, you can't fucking do that. Okay, that's not acceptable. What I need is a tax credit from the federal government of half their fucking wages, right? So if I got to pay some guy $20 an hour to get him to sweep floors, right? I need the government to give me $10 fucking an hour so I can train this guy to do some shit. Right? Then after he comes in, fucks up my culture, pisses off people, right? Takes up my time, takes up my other people's time. Maybe I can get this guy to be a productive member of my business. I can give him some skills he can then add to another business, right? And then we can do this over decades. We can have actual people that are useful again instead of just being useful at taking fucking welfare. Right? Or these menial, redundant jobs where you go from Subway to, Amazon to driving DoorDash to working for Denny's or fucking Waffle House or one of these things. You actually get real productive people being trained and paid because they're useful. Yeah, so anyway, that's, let's see, this isn't live, don't recommend. Okay, well, Adam, I appreciate it. All right, Mr. Good Citizen, 9914, socialism leads to the starvation of millions upon millions of people throughout history. Those who don't learn from history are doomed to repeat it. I guess what you're going to say. And Mr. Good Citizen, I agree with you 100%, but what other option are you giving people? What, so they could just continue to lead this shitty existence. They can continue to hear from people like me how great the 80s and the 90s were, right? How we had fucking no racism. I bought my first home at 22 years old as a bullshit furniture maker. I've always tried BMWs and fucking Audis and Volkswagen. I've always had really nice cars and shit. No education. I never graduated high school. We have to continue to hear from people like me and then the fucking boomers, pick yourself up by your bootstraps. I had it hard too. We have to keep hearing this stuff, right? What do you expect people to do? All your tax dollars, your taxes never go down, right? Your government is just continuing to bomb the third world, all these other countries, meddle in everyone's affairs, right? They continue to print money, right, which devalues your dollar. They continue to raise the debt because money doesn't matter, only to you, the taxpayer. They continue to not be accountable. Everything that affects you, they're not accountable for, right? The rules that apply to you don't apply to them. What do you expect people to do? I mean, I like to think I got it figured out, but if that was me and I couldn't figure out how to get ahead, I'd vote for socialism. Like, why not? If I can't get ahead, like, fuck you, I'll vote for someone else who will give me what I want, right? And if what I want is free shit, that's what I'm going to vote for. If what I want is a job, that's what I'm going to vote for, right? When I voted for Donald Trump, I was voting to kick out the third world. That means tariff the fucking shit out of China and Vietnam and mass deportations, because I believe that would help the American worker make more money. That would force the American business to train and employ more American workers. Increase benefits, increase wages, increase the real employment rate in this country. Give people real meaningful work so that people don't have to have 2 and 3 jobs at a time. So everyone's not a fucking subcontractor with no benefits. So that the fiduciary responsibility wasn't the most important thing in our economy. So, Eric Powell, a couple was bioweapon. Whenever they're cooking up for us next, man, I don't know, man. I think Trump's going to drop a nuke. That's what I think. I think Trump is going to do something that is so destabilizing that it will just distract everyone. I don't want to, I mean, call it the October surprise, call it whatever you want, man. Like I said, guys, I was in Florida, man. I was in West Palm Beach where Trump lives. That place, I've never seen so much money. I've never seen so much construction. You're talking cranes on every building. I'm not talking like 10 cranes on the skyline. I'm talking like 50 cranes on the skyline. There is so much money being spent in this country, guys. It's just not where most of you are at. You know, and that's part of the problem. Let's see, Trump being stalled by Congress. I don't know if Trump's being stalled by Congress. I think Congress is in on all of it. I really do. Trump sold us out. I fell for it. Yeah, me too, Eric. I'm big time. I feel very bad about it. I absolutely fell for it. All right, Toe Cutter 7683. The Democrat Party took 180 when Obama took office. You're 100% right. You're 100% right, man. And Obama. I mean, God, Obama really fucked us on that affordable health care. I mean, that is just like wildly unaffordable. And it's like the government's just supposed to subsidize it forever. And as the costs continue to go up, right, we'll just create more subsidies. And the truth is like you need to get the government out of it. Like you need the government out of healthcare and get insurance out of healthcare. Like the minute you make people pay cash for things, guess what? The price drops immediately. You know, and again, wealthy people, there's been charity forever. You want to help poor people? Great, there's been charity for poor people. Right? I'm sure there's lots of charity you can get for healthcare. And it sounds terrible, and people want to hear that shit, but you got to get the government out, guys. Like the government does not have an off switch. They're like a spigot that just fucking runs forever. Like you can't turn it off. The minute you let the government have any power, you can never claw it back. Never. Trump was supposed to claw back the stuff. It didn't happen. He made it worse. So, all right, guys, I'm at 2 hours, man. I did lots of talking today. I'm gonna speed run through comments, guys, and I gotta get there. I didn't get to talk about all the things I want to talk about, shocker, but I appreciate everyone hanging out today. Hit the like button, add the discussion, and like I said, I'm gonna speed run through comments. I appreciate everyone taking the time to tell me what they like, what they don't like about this administration, what's going on in politics. I try to interact with you guys, and it's a great way to start the morning and you know, hear about what's really going on, because I don't think the internet, for the most part, is reality. I think there's a lot of bots and weird algorithm manipulation going on, and I appreciate everyone being here this morning and talking about what they want to talk about. All right, see, Don Will Banks, 9844, what's up with the Islamic Socialist Democrat Party? I don't know, man. I don't give a fuck. I could care less. Islam isn't our problem. Our federal government's our problem. Our politicians being voted into office to do things on a platform and then doing the exact opposite. That's what I got a problem with. China removed from Panama Canal, Venezuela, oil no longer going to Russia, China, Cuba collapsing, resetting Middle East with neutering IRGC. You know, and PWT. I don't disagree with anything you're saying there. The problem is that I didn't vote for any of that. Now, if Trump had ran on that platform, he wouldn't have been elected. Kamala Harris probably would have won. You know, and if that's what he wanted to do, put it in your platform. But that wasn't what he ran on. And again, he could do those things that you're talking about. You know, what's going on here with the Panama Canal and resetting, you know, the oil, the petrodollar and the oil and all that. I agree with all that. But you got to do the things that you ran on. The things that we voted for that you did tell us about, you got to do that stuff. And then you could do the shit that whatever you have on the back end that you had in the back of your mind, you could do all that too. But you got to do what we voted for first, or at least in conjunction with all the other bullshit. But the problem is that we're not getting what we voted for. We're getting some other plan that he didn't run on. So this is the problem that I have. All right, people hate truth. They absolutely need to start charging the people, hiring them. Yeah, and I agree. You could do that as well. I think that's a fine idea. You know, and again, like I know for a fact I've hired illegal immigrants. Like it happens. You hire enough people in your day, it's gonna happen. You know, and whatever. Like you have to, at some point, somebody has to be held accountable. But there's nobody. Not the people that let them in, not the people that lie about the status of the border, not the businesses that hire them, nobody. Not the social services that give them benefits, like none of it. It just, everyone's looking in the direction. And one of the things I don't hear enough people talking about is everyone talks about Social Security, right? Social Security is being propped up right now because of all these illegals, because they all come in, use fake Social Security numbers, and then those Social Security payments, right, which are being paid legally by the businesses, are going into the Social Security fund. I don't hear enough people talking about that, and it's just it's so corrupt, guys. The corruption is like, it just goes beyond what people talk about. It's really bad. All right, let's see. Momex Studios 8344, dumbass. Okay, appreciate it. Let me know why. Eric Powell says nobody wants to work. Yeah, I know that nobody wants to work anymore. I think that I think COVID fucked everybody up. They think that, work from home is a real thing. And it's like, I'm so good at what I do that I don't need to be around other people. I don't need someone watching me. I don't need someone, measuring my work, measuring my quality. I just need to do what I want to do and you need to pay me. I think there's a lot of that mentality going on, which is too bad. Teachers are important. Teachers are wildly important. This is Jeeper 1969. Teachers are super important. I think that we need smaller. We need a smaller education system. We need more local educators. We need more local educating groups. Right. We need more homeschool operations. We need more neighborhood schools. We need more schools that focus on educations that are important to the region where they're at. I think we need a lot more of that. I think we need a lot more moms and people with families teaching people. I think we got way too many lesbians with fucking gender studies degrees teaching people. I think that's a bad thing. I think we need people that have skin in the game to be teachers. But what do I know? I didn't even graduate high school. All right, let's see, George Evers, who is 8442. The ignorance of this post is impressive. All right, cool, appreciate it. Eric Powell, I live in LA, 91, 92, Rodney Q Rants. Yep, all right, cool, man. You we're on the ground there. Bald, yep, totally bald. All right, Mike Chair, good to see you, dude. Mike's from Canada, in case anyone wants to know. Good to see you, dude. People hate truth. You don't need to increase the housing supply. You need to get rid of the people in those houses that aren't paying for them. I had no problem making to sell a house. Yeah, I agree with that. You get rid of a lot of the people here. Suddenly there's a lot more supply, but they're not going to do that, So it's like either or. Like Trump could have kicked a whole bunch of people out. And guess what? You'd have a lot of people not getting rent anymore that would probably sell those homes because they're not cash flowing anymore, So, but I don't know, man. Let's see, KY Joe 3687. Okay, appreciate it. That's hilarious. I love Is that from when they're eating duck? I love that scene. It's so good. They cut the goose's head off. Whack, or no, it's the duck. All right, Running Man 19, hey, you're not a rudder. I know, totally not a rudder. All right, the Big Juggles, good to see you. Hey, mate, been a while. Yeah, I know, Big Jug. I need to get back to doing these streams more. I'm trying, but when I do these streams, like sometimes I'll talk for like 2 hours, and we get a lot of people in here. It's a lot of fun, but I need to get back on track. Jake 5993 says, bye-bye, petrodollar, 70 chess. Set the bankruptcy, an IRS out of jail free card, super smart MAGA cult bankrupting the world. These people wake up, please wake up. He's like, yeah, I know. Trump's hurting a lot of people right now, and he's doing it in America's name, which is fucking bullshit. Like, I don't believe in any of this shit. I don't believe in closing the Strait of Hormuz so you can protect the fucking Israel. I don't believe in that shit because it hurts Europe. It hurts, India. It hurts South America. It hurts America. It hurts everybody. Like, don't do that. It's unnecessary. Well, Iran can't have a nuke. Okay, well, what about the last 35 years? Where was the war then? Where was the massive effort to go overthrow this country? Oh, there wasn't one because it wasn't an issue, right? All you want to do is protect the oil. As long as the oil was flowing, you didn't give a shit about anything because you don't really care about the people. You don't really care about anybody. All you care about is yourself and the petrodollar, right? And again, you need it. I'm not saying that it's great that we have it, but it's losing its relevancy, and we're kind of seeing that the way our economy works, the way our government is structured, right, is not really benefiting Americans. And Americans are seeing this more than ever, right? The oil companies make fucking shit tons of money, yet the cost of energy doesn't go down in this country. If we're going to take over Venezuela's government, great. The fucking oil better come down in America. It better get cheaper. But we don't have any refineries, right? So how the fuck are you going to get all that oil and turn it into gas that actually helps the average American? It doesn't happen, right? If we're going to go take over Iran, great, let's go. Let's send 500,000 troops. Let's go kill everyone. Let's go take their fucking energy, right? But gas better be 99 cents a gallon here. And it's not, right? It always benefits the wealthy and the large corporations and the people, in the military-industrial complex, or maybe it benefits the monarchies over there, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, UAE, all these places. It benefits all them, just never benefits you. You just pay for it all. You pay for it by higher taxes. You pay for it by funding governments and departments that aren't accountable to you, that can't be audited or won't be audited. Meanwhile, you have to pay for all those operations and pay for all the increased costs in America because of inflation. So yeah, very, very frustrating. Okay, guys, I think I need to get out of here. Mike says that you got 44 million barrels a day. 6 of those barrels you use, the rest you sell. Again, man, you're 100% right. And again, If we have all this energy, why isn't it coming here to America to help Americans? You guys know what the cost of oil is in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia? It's 59 cents a gallon. Okay? 59 cents a gallon, right? When Trump was in office, oil or gasoline was $2.53 a gallon here in America. Right now, I'm paying $3.99 here in Missouri yesterday. So yeah, thanks, Trump. Fucking amazing. You really knocked it out of the park on this whole energy thing. Oh, greatest fucking economy ever, the golden age. Yeah, you're trying to import beef because fucking got midterms coming up and beef is too expensive. We've been talking about the high cost of beef for over a year at this point. Now you're suddenly like, oh, I better deal with this. And we're gonna bring in all this beef. Okay, great. Anyway. All right, Eric Powell, Trump is a traitor. Yes, Trump is a 100% a traitor. Big Juggles, also Trump is bragging about opening the strait when he's the Muppet that closed. I know, fuck me, man. Like guys, I say this all the time. February 28th, gasoline was trading at, we were paying $2.53 a gallon here in Missouri. Oil was $63 a barrel. You had over 50 vessels traveling the Strait of Hormuz every single day. Now it's all fucked. And for what? Well, I've always said Iran can't have a nuclear weapon. Go fuck yourself, man. Your fucking people are more important than some fucking little country over in a place that no American is ever gonna go. We're not suddenly gonna trade going to fucking Cabo for going to Tel Aviv. I'm sorry, it ain't fucking happening. You know, Qatar's tourism is gonna be amazing. Have you seen the NEOM project? Like, it's gonna be amazing. It's gonna be a hub for travelers and everyone's gonna destination over there. No, we're not. No, we're not. You know, be afraid of the Muslims, the fucking brown people. They're going to come get you. You got to protect the American way of life. So disgusting. Anyway, guys, I got to get out of here. My wife's awake, and I got to go feed the birds. I appreciate what hanging out. I'm sorry I didn't get to all the comments. Anyone left a comment, I really do appreciate it. I'll try and do more of these chats. Again, I don't know what I need to do with this content. I don't know if people like the politics and the current events like that. Some people want the woodworking stuff, and I don't mind making a video to build a piece of furniture. If it takes me, say it takes me 40 hours to build a piece of furniture, to do a video, it's more like 100 hours. There's a lot of back and forth, a lot of, doing, make sure we got cameras set up, mics are right, lighting's decent. Then you got to go on the editing side. A 30-minute video on making furniture on the editing side takes probably 6 to 8 hours of actual editing to get a finished video. A lot of work that goes into these things. And if it helped this channel, I would probably do more of it. But people seem to like the political content. It gets so much more traction. And I don't know. You guys let me know. I appreciate what hanging out today. But you guys have a great weekend.